Welcome to the first ever live podcast. Eric's here. He's skeptical.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 109.
Technical
Red Force
issues
Podcast.
abound. Alright, technical issues abound.
My name is Eric Talato. Joining me today is Christian Talato.
Hello, I'm back on the webcam because shenanigans, technology being bad, you know?
Christian, what can I say? What can I say about...
Is the stream working? Are we live? Is it all working? I think it is.
Apparently it's working, alright?
Alright, so one thing worked, one thing didn't work. So that's 1-1, you know?
The camera will be fixed at some point.
The camera will be fixed. There's some bullshit black magic going on, you know? So, you know, it doesn't look that bad. It looks alright.
We'll see what happens as we go on with the transitions and the segments. Thunderdome, brand new segment.
Exactly, all new.
Jordan Lee, shout out to the Patreons.
Jordan Lee went absolutely insane on this Thunderdome. All right,
we'll take into consideration now.
Yeah.
Like the stream, like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Tell people we're live, all right? Tell people we're live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what else is going on? All right. What else is going on? We're back in the studio. We have maximum technology.
Now, people are asking live, Christian, live chat interaction here. My voice, they're saying, is fucked. You know why?
Why?
Screaming on Dritz's stream and then screaming on King of Lightning's stream.
Yeah, your voice is fucked.
Right?
You went into battle for no reason. We already went into battle.
I'm trying to talk to King of Lightning about very specific issues about One Piece and things that I want to talk to him. And his tier 3 subs are just memeing.
Could there be a guest appearance of King of Lightning on this
King of Lightning said he'd turn up. We'll see what happens, alright?
Okay.
Now, if you see his name on the video, he turned up.
Okay.
If you don't, he didn't. Okay. So there you go.
There you go. Alright. Yeah. Live schedules. Let's just talk about it. Supposed to be Monday, 7 p.m. our time. Why?
Which is gonna fuck everyone else.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Why? Because we have to keep on the official schedule and Eric has work.
Yes.
Alright? Now, we could do it Sundays, but it wouldn't be the official. So, we've already said what we said about the unofficial scalations, alright? Absolute trash. Alright?
Correct.
So, this is the only opportunity we're going to have. Now, this is early. This is not the actual time. This is about 6 hours early. Because Eric has a day off.
We've got public holidays here.
Shout outs to Australia Day, alright? Shout outs.
Fuck yeah.
No.
What? What the problem?
Let's just
you didn't close the door.
Let's just lock this door.
Lock the door.
Let's just lock the door. Alright. So yeah. Shout outs to Australia Day. Eric gets a day off.
Now, Christian. What's going on this week in the world of One Piece?
Sure.
People upset, mad.
Eric's starting Twitter wars.
Starting Twitter wars with
multiple people.
Just Greg, really. There's no other war with anyone else.
What did I want to say? Oh yeah. Go read a webcomic Shadow Soul. Why?
Go read it.
Why? Fights. Alright? It's
we'll
time. We'll see how we go. The main fights of the arc. Fast approaching. Alright? Eric will be the judge.
Alright.
Alright, Eric will be the judge. Alright.
Listen, alright?
What?
This chapter, spicy.
Of One Piece.
Alright? Chapter 969.
Yeah.
Topic of the show, Christian. What do you got for us this week?
It is called Topic of the show, Oden, what the fuck, let's set the record straight. A lot of confusing shit from us and from Oda, as what he said at the start of the arc. Very different now, very interesting. A few key words that implied certain things and didn't turn out that way. Now, is that us misinterpreting shit? Or is that Oda changing course?
Okay.
Because there were a lot of interesting things here, a lot of implications that I think is maybe why we're this upset and don't really understand this character or this flashback from what the expectations were when they were set up in Act 2 at the start.
Okay.
Which is like why Oden's great and what he did and what he's about. Alright?
Now, maybe people out there have seen us on a certain stream with Dritz, maybe a couple of days ago.
We all are.
The blood was
Enraged.
boiling.
Enraged.
Christian, a couple of days to think about it.
Yeah.
And rereading the official. Maybe calm down a little bit.
It's still the same problems are still there.
But we'll get to it.
And it's the tipping point of a whole slew of problems. Alright? It's not just this chapter, it's a tipping point. But we'll talk about it in the chapter. Also, a few stream rules. Donations will be read in the question corner segment. Or if they fit directly into the show. Because we can't have constant interruptions. This isn't a King of Lightning stream, alright? Also, the Thunderdome is here. First ever episode of the Thunderdome. It is Doflamingo versus Silver's Rayleigh. A matchup for the decade. Now, someone's going to get knocked out. And they're two spicy contenders. So, Jordan Lee has prepared an essay for us about what he thinks should happen. Alright?
Okay.
So, do you want to get into the chapter?
Let's go right into it.
Let's get into the chapter. And we're here. We're in the chapter. Chapter 969. Fool of a Lord. Now, what do you want to say?
I was about to say
what do you want to say?
What do I want to say about this chapter?
Yeah.
Reminds me of last week. Oda skating on the thinnest ice, trying to get those figure skates in, doing those double turns, trying to get 10 out of 10 on the ice rink. All right.
Now,
dangerous.
Did you lose the metaphor halfway through?
I was going for like an ice skating, figure skating thing. But
I don't know if that worked, but
you know what I'm trying to say.
This chapter is the culmination. This chapter is the culmination of the problems we face in Wano. All right.
Yes.
I think we'll just get into it. All right. First page, cover page. Guardy gets beat up by a goon marine. Now, where is this leading? Somewhere? Some people saying CP0. Some people saying the reveal of Green Bull. Now, that would be absolutely insanity.
On a cover page.
If Green Bull gets revealed on a cover page.
Sure.
But something to do there. Something to happen there. All right?
Yeah.
Now, first actual page of the chapter. Oden running towards Orochi, about to slash him.
Sure.
Right? Little flashback of Toki telling Oden to be calm and not just strike out in anger. Alright? Orochi is saved by the old man with the Barry no Me, the old owner of the barrier fruit. Now,
another Koromizuki. What is it? Korozuki?
Korazumi.
Korozumi family member.
Yeah. Another one. The two old people are Korozumi family members. And they have to be dead. They have to be dead.
I like the Devil Fruit reuse.
Sure. I mean, it's good in the flashbacks. We don't want to see or just start spamming that, Oh, this character died somehow. Now the fruit's out in the wild, But
it could be good.
Yeah.
Because like the audience already knows what the fruit is, so there's like no time wasted.
Sure. So the Barry no Me saves this man. How these barriers have to be unbreakable, right? Are literally unbreakable.
People are confused. They're saying no Haki can break it. It is stated they are unbreakable.
The man that used Enma to cut Kaido could not cut this barrier.
The birdcage can't cut the birdcage, and no one else can cut the birdcage.
Yeah, Fujitora can't cut it. Zoro can't cut it.
Not unpushable, as we saw with the birdcage.
Sure.
All right, can be pushed, but unbreakable.
It is literally unbreakable. All right.
It's a Devil Fruit summoning ability, so it's not the body of the individual Haki. It's all very strange.
All right, but we've seen the King punch against the barrier, not a scratch. We've seen
Ruben to be as strong as an Emperor's punch.
All right, we've seen Enma slashes, and it's a two-sword slash. Enma and the serpent, the flying serpent snake, whatever it's called.
Why have the barrier if it's breakable? Like why is it even an ability?
Yeah, it's the most defensive ability in the series.
Yeah,
insane durability. All right, the barrier fruit saves.
I mean, the whole point of the fruit is for it to be unbreakable.
Yeah, the fruit's unbreakable. The barrier's unbreakable. All right.
You're just gonna have stammer in your fingers,
Yeah. The people are happy to see Oden try to take out Orochi, the rightful heir. Alright? They're happy to see it.
Yes.
Alright? Oden demands that he gets his seat back as Shogun. Orochi reveals his evil scheme to Oden for no reason other than to taunt him.
Yes.
He's like, aha, I used clone fruit to trick the people into getting your dead father into telling me, into convincing the people that I should be the Shogun. It is implied that Orochi killed his father, and Oden understands that. Suddenly, poison arrows fall into the crowd, people are struck, it causes blindness. You know?
I think it is Queen.
Queen bullshit, probably. Alright?
Yeah.
And then Kaido appears above the castle. A conversation happens. Shinobu is watching. Alright? And the details of the deal between Kaido, Orochi,
Mm-hmm.
and Oden are hidden. Now this is the most frustrating part of the chapter. Because why are we introducing more mysteries in the flashback that is supposed to solve all the mysteries?
Brago brought up a point, and a few others bring up the point. Is Oda making us feel hatred in our heart this week on purpose? Because he does say in the final page,
Stay tuned. He wants us to read. He knows he pissed us off, right?
Is that the intent of this week? To get us blood red angry? To feel the hatred? It's not like we feel hatred towards Orochi. We feel hatred towards the whole situation. Yeah.
I mean, like, people don't understand why this annoys the fuck out of us. Because, sure, it could be revealed next week.
Let's get through all the plot points and then lay it out on the table.
Talk about it.
I guess, what are we doing? Are we doing this in topic of the show? Or are we doing this here?
Kind of. We're doing it both. The topic of the show is more about setting the record straight and trying to understand Oden. And this is more turn of events kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, Shinobu's watching the deal. We get dialogue telling us that Oden is strong and proud after his journey on the seas. But yet, now he is dancing like a fool for some reason. Why did this happen? Mm-hmm. And a lot can be said here. It could have been Oden's turning point of him realizing that brute force won't get the job done. As said by the old man, no brute force will work here. Is it that he threatened the people of Wano with utter destruction and plague and things like that? Doesn't have to do with void century bullshit with the return of Joy Boy opening the borders. The problem is we have
there's some deal with boats.
There's some deal with boats and Kaido, but at the end of the day, we have no idea why this character turn happened. Literally no idea. You have a massive character 180, and then no explanation. Now, that could happen next week. That could happen in a month's time when Shinobu tells us the real deal. That's all possible. But right now, in this chapter, it's a 180 out of nowhere.
Yes.
180 character turn out of nowhere.
Well, let me just say this. Oden has changed personality on the sea.
No, he hasn't.
We know this.
Why?
Right?
Literally the text box before he's dancing says he came back to Wano stronger and prouder than ever before.
Yes.
He has not changed.
He started not caring about himself. He started caring about...
When did that happen?
We talk about his family when he turns his back on Wano. If I saw this... If I saw what life would be like, I would never return back on my journey. He's thinking about his people more than his lust for adventure.
But he goes in the adventure anyway.
Yeah, but he can't look at his country.
But here's the thing, right?
He won't return.
Sure, we can take that. But then, for some reason, he decides not to attack Kaido, does not try to do anything, does not get defeated.
The words of Toki echo in his mind.
Sure.
And that was an intentional panel.
But listen to this. If the barrier fruit was not there, Orochi would be dead. Yes. It's not like the words of Toki stopped him from striking. Now that would be a different scenario, right? The words of Toki calmed him down and he didn't strike Orochi. That's a different thing. But he went through with the action and then was stopped by an ability. So he wasn't stopped by his own agency. He was stopped by someone else and then convinced somehow to stop fighting for what he believes in, which is his people and the prosperity of Wano, and do nothing for 5 years but dance. And then after some people are killed, then he's back on the track.
He sacrifices his face for the people of Kuri and this ultimate kind of deal he made with Orochi, right?
The deal is massively important because it has to make sense. If it's just, I'm gonna massacre the people of Kuri,
they're already suffering. They're already slaves.
Exactly.
Udon
already exists. There's factories everywhere.
I was talking to King about this morning.
Yeah.
Why would Oden believe Orochi would keep his word? He just saw
the trickery.
He just saw this man scheme his way to the top.
Yeah.
Without any honor or anything that makes Wano honorable.
Oden said it himself. This shriveling, weak piece of shit. He said it. He knows he has no honor and is untrustworthy. Why would he trust him?
There's no reason to trust him.
Exactly.
This is what I think the situation is, okay? There is character development of Oden.
That's off screen.
He's willing to make himself look like a fool in order for the good of the people. Theoretically, that's what's going on, right?
Yeah, sure.
Whatever turns out, that's what Oda's trying to do.
But then,
we've seen this before.
Sure, but then
and it's typical kind of like.
Let's just go through the rest of this chapter. We'll talk about some more stuff here because you know there's a turning point. All right. So Shinobi's watching it all go down. Oden starts dancing in the street, acting like a fool. People start to turn their back on him. They thought he was gonna help Wano. He's just a fool. A year passes. Roger's death happens, and Oden is happy and sad at the same time. What a beautiful life. This doesn't snap him out of his bullshit.
Yeah, he doesn't realize that he's been fucking around and wasting his time.
Yeah. And then more time passes, more people turn their back on him. The fight
you assume the situation is getting worse and worse as
in Wano, because more and more factories are being built, more and more pollution.
Kaido and Moria have a full-on fight.
The fight between Kaido and Moria happens in one panel.
The Sword Saint's body's taken.
And the sword is gone. And the sword is gone.
Apparently it's a big deal to Wano, and he does nothing.
The textbook says the morale of Wano fell even further. Oden does nothing to do anything against Kaido.
After this.
3 years pass. Alright? It's been 5 years since he's been made to dance. Orochi comes to Kuri, demanding that he builds factories in Kuri. And Oden asks him about some boats and something to do with Kaido. Orochi acts like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Orochi then reveals that he has captured Hiroguro and killed his wife and 16 of his men. Alright? Oden has had enough. He's gathered his men. He's going to attack Kaido.
The narrator states, last straw moment, which is whatever. It's fine.
The narrator hides up the next chapter with a battle between Kaido.
Sick.
Last battle. Okay.
At least the last double page spread is getting me excited, alright?
Now let's talk about this. Obviously the deal had to do with Kaido. Because he wants his revenge on Kaido. He doesn't want it on Orochi. He wants it on Kaido. He says, let's go take Kaido out. I'm taking Kaido out. He doesn't say, let's go take out Orochi. He says, it's time to get rid of Kaido. So obviously Kaido is the main problem.
Yes.
So what was the deal? It has to be a deal between Kaido, mainly.
It's a deal between Kaido and Orochi. The only reason why Orochi's in power is because of Kaido.
Yeah.
So, Kaido's the key to getting rid of Orochi.
Yeah.
But this is my problem, right? We know Oden thinks he can take Kaido.
He thinks it right now.
He thinks it right now, and he
5 years later.
Why does he wait 5 years?
Why did he not even try and attack Kaido to test his strength?
What is holding him back?
Yeah.
Alright? And if it's I can't do anything in the Barry no mate, you have ninjas, you have assassins, you can get rid of this guy.
Sure. You got
Like,
Raizo. Raizo's literally ninja.
it has to be some grand sacrifice in order to justify this. But like at the end of the day,
It still doesn't
he
make
waits. He
sense.
waits for. He waits 5 years. The situation gets worse and worse. He does nothing. He finally starts to do something, and at the end of the day, he fails. So he was wrong in waiting. Regardless,
Here's the main problem, right?
his suffering was not rewarded.
Here's the main problem. What happened as soon as Oden got home? He learned that his family, Toki Momonosuke, was attacked and was put in danger against Orochi and his forces, the Kado and his forces. And then he finally snaps back when something lesser happens, like Hyogoro.
Well, it's a
What is the
logical
story?
moment, but it doesn't make sense that he wouldn't fight back for his country and his people.
Like, here's the thing. It would be
Here and
different.
now.
Like, it would be a completely different and understandable story if Oden went up against Kaido.
And lost.
They've got defeated in more than one way.
Listen,
Morally,
The-
you
I-
know, morale down.
People, I've already seen people in many streams say we don't understand the plot points. People, we understand that, he's had a character shift. He's suffering for the will of the people.
Sure,
He's heroic.
sure, it's not
This
on
is the
screen.
problem. This is the problem. All right, it's not earned. We don't see why the character defect of him charging in, right,
Is a problem because there's never
It's a
been a problem.
and he learns from it here, right? And apparently grows from charging in and doesn't do it here. Right?
And then he charges in 5 years later.
Yeah, so the whole character defect of him charging in doesn't matter because he does it regardless.
So he was right in the first strike of attacking Orochi head on.
There would be no difference from him attacking now or attacking 5 years later. There's no difference.
We just have to wait 5 years.
For him to believe that Orochi and Kaido would make good on a deal is ridiculous.
Because he knows.
This man got the throne illegitimately through scheming. Orochi shows him that.
And Orochi tells him his evil plan and laughs at him.
I'm going to make weapons here. He's degraded the country. It's not like it's some kind of like, we're making weapons because we're all poor, we're trying to eat. The land was prosperous before.
Yeah.
And Kaido and Moria assumably fucked this country up when they're fighting, right?
Well, the pollution is more implied of why that reason is.
The Sword Saint's body was taken with the sword. And what the fuck?
Now,
Is Oden this dumb that he believes Orochi will keep his end of the deal? Because if he is, why is Oden a great man?
yeah, why? And we'll get to that.
Oda keeps on telling us that Oden is a great man and these men follow him. Yeah. But yet, we talked about this before the flashback. We expected this flashback to flesh out their relationship.
Exactly.
To prove to the reader that Oden is a great man. To prove. You can't just, as a writer and as a storyteller, you can't just say things.
Sure.
And for it to be true. And that's what I see most of all what's going on. It's people like Greg going...
The plot points are there, therefore it doesn't matter.
People like Greg going, it's in the story, it's explained, it's there. And I'm going, I need to see it. It needs to be proven to me. How low have the standards gotten that people are like, yeah, but it's text that's there, that said the words that need to get me to this point. Like, do we expect an emotional connection to these characters, or we just expect plot points on a page?
Here's my problem, right? Here's my problem. We see it. Oden on the seas, and Oden returning from Wano are the same character. There's nothing there to say that he's changed in any way.
Not really, because he cares about his country more than the adventure.
But you could say he cared about his country when he overtook Kuri and made it a good place, because he hates to see that stench. He hates the stench of violence. He turned Kuri into a livable, manageable place and earned the respect of the people. He still had the dream of going out to seas. He returned 4 years before he returned again, and he already had that character change.
Yeah.
Or the change was never there. He always loved Wano.
Let's ask the people in the chat, right?
Yeah.
I asked this on Twitter a couple weeks ago, but like the plot points are there, the words have been said, and the actions have been taken for us to understand what Oda's going for, and we understand it, right? But it's not enough. Do you agree that it's not enough for us to believe the words that are on the page? Because that's ultimately what he's trying to do. Anyone could just write things on a page and be like, "Yeah, that's what happened." But is it earned? Is it earned?
I don't think he hasn't even put the plot points we need on the screen, and we'll get to that in the next topic because I've got various notes on.
Well, we never saw
implications and
we never saw the growth of him on Roger's crew. It was more like it. The textbook says he's grown many times
but there's
stronger,
no evidence.
and his pride is, but there's nothing on page that is suggestive of that.
Yeah,
like there's even not there's something that you could point to maybe some kind of character growth and maturity in Oden, right? Because he's willing to degrade himself for Kuri for some reason, right? There's some kind of
for some reason,
right?
And but it's a snap decision. It's not growth because he charges in and almost kills Orochi. He doesn't stop before he kills him.
But he listened. The flashback of his wife in his mind that Oda chose to put there implies that the learning happened, right?
But it didn't work.
This is my problem, right? The growth moments, the key moments that we need to see to understand this character on an emotional level aren't on the page.
Yeah. And you could say that about the villains as well, which we'll get to, alright?
Sure. Orochi's pretty standard though. Like Orochi is
but we have
not big issues with Orochi.
We have no idea why he's here, what he's about, why he wants Wano to be closed off.
And the borders, Christian, the borders have nothing to do with this situation as well.
And we'll get to that, because that's what the law stated. The law stated the borders had everything to do with this. Alright? Okay. So, we'll get to it. Alright? Ratings.
Would you want to talk about Moro and Kaido doing...
Well, I had hopes for it. I had hopes for that plot point. It was brought up earlier. Turns out it was just one panel. Just there, just to mention it.
Just tying it up.
You know, a thriller bark plot seemingly thrown out the window because we didn't have time for it. People have been waiting for it's a long payoff. It's a long time payoff.
You expect Moro to turn up though.
I expect Moro to turn up in the war, have some words with Kaido, but will we ever go back to this in a flashback form? Their rivalry, their fight, their way.
People
Moro knew about Ryuma.
Right in the chat saying he can't attack Kaido without putting all of Wano in danger, right?
He's doing that right now.
He's doing it right now, 5 years later. Without a plan to maybe even try and attempt to take Kaido out in a legitimate way that wouldn't ruin Wano. And Wano's already ruined.
Wano was ruined when he got there before he left.
It's not like Wano's in prosperous and like and Oden wants to take out Wano. And Oden wants to take out Orochi because of some, heresy on the throne or something, or some underground plot lines. Wano is dying on the surface.
Yeah, he's watching it die.
He's watching it die via his own eyes.
Yeah.
The whole country's already in danger. And in some ways, they're suffering more than death.
Yeah, because the Udon exists.
Yeah. So it's not an excuse for us to be like, the whole of Wano is in danger.
Because Wano's already in danger.
And pretty much on the brink of collapse in terms of like the outside of the Flower Capital.
Now, if it's like Oden has to live to see Joy Boy return and he needs the boats and he needs Kaido to do something so Joy Boy can return, some ancient Void Century bullshit.
He's putting that before his people and his family.
Maybe this has to do with opening the borders, and Joy Boy has to return to open the borders.
How can we respect a man that would throw away his family and his country for some grand scheme?
Void Century scheme.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't kill. It would help the whole world. He would assume, but again, we don't really know what he thinks about the world government and all that kind of stuff.
Also, like the other daimyo, the Yakuza family, nothing.
Hyogoro said enough at some point and got killed for it, and his wife got killed for it and stuff.
Well, yeah, like what about the other daimyo? They're not on. They're not in the story.
Well, Orochi, there is a line that Orochi's like, haha, other
Yeah, I know.
daimyo have tried and they have failed.
He said if it was about strength, they would have already been dead.
Yeah.
But like,
But it's about
what-
strength.
What do they think about the situation?
But
Why
it
aren't
is
they
a bit-
banding?
But
Why
he's
aren't they? Why aren't they banding together to take out Orochi and Kaido?
but here's
Why isn't
the but here's
it's
the
been
thing.
5 years.
There's
Why
no-
aren't they?
But here's the thing, there's no lesson here because it is about strength. Kaido's gonna be defeated in war. It's all about strength. It's not political. There's no political angles. There's no deals being made. Kaido's gonna get defeated in a war. It's about strength.
Yeah.
It's always been about strength. And Oden's like, it's about strength right now, 5 years later.
Luffy needs the strength to take out Kaido.
Exactly. That's his whole training montage for. Alright? So,
This is what I think's happening.
Oden's rationale and logic does not make sense.
With interacting with the people out there who like this chapter, right? And maybe this is what's going on with a few people. They see the like cliche moments of like him dancing, him.
They see the
sacrifice
idea,
his will for
they
his-
don't-
yeah, they see the things on page and they go, yeah, I've seen that before. I understand it, but they're not thinking about it in terms of like
The overall kind of whole thing of Wano.
and like why is this happening and does that make sense in terms of his character and what's been established and what we've seen.
And
that-
also, the borders have nothing to do with this conflict at all.
yeah, because we understand that he's suffering for the sake of the people and his family, but we don't know why.
Kinemon states multiple times that Oden's dream is to open the borders, and this conflict of Orochi has nothing to do with that.
And he's saying, right? He's saying that like Kinemon says, "What is the secret? Why are you lying to us? Tell us why." And he refuses to.
Yeah.
So there's some grand thing that Oda will reveal that he thinks is the key to this situation, which we frustratingly
But the story is suffering so much from this. I gotta keep this mystery under wraps, even though we're in the flashback that it's supposed to explain to us all the mysteries so we understand the characters. But no, one of the most important emotional moments of Oden's character is skipped to save a reveal either next chapter or a month later or whenever it's going to happen, end of the arc. It's going to be saved till then.
And we're still waiting for Big Mom. So it's not like this is unprecedented that the ball can be fumbled.
The can's kicked down the road, and we're suffering right here and now.
And then we get a line somewhere that's thrown in to make it make sense, and then we're not satisfied at all.
Oda is throwing in too many mysteries in Wano. The trader, this,
Witching Our Boy.
Witching Our Boy, fucking Yasu, right?
Who's Denjiro? Why is that still a thing?
Yeah, oh shit, King of Lightning's here.
Oh, Kingu.
Kingu's here.
King, we're just talking about the chapter. We're almost done with the conversation. We're about to give our ratings. Is he setting up?
He's setting up, he is in the call. Use your webcam, King, alright? Use your webcam.
Yeah, you can use your webcam if you want.
There he is. You coming in real quiet, King.
Really?
Yeah. It's like you're talking on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
The other way.
Maybe your headset mic.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay,
There you go, right?
there we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
You've been
Okay,
listening or you just jumped in?
No, I just jumped in.
Okay,
Okay.
we're talking about Oden and why this decision makes no sense. Yeah.
No, I said it did because, or at least I would assume it did because I don't think Odin's the same person as the beginning of the flashback.
But there's
one flashback.
there's no evidence to suggest that because as soon as he gets back to Wano, he rushes in and almost kills Orochi. He doesn't stop. He is stopped by the barrier fruit. If he wasn't stopped, he would have killed Orochi.
Yeah, okay, but he
Yeah.
ran in there because of his family.
Exactly.
So
And then
see, yeah, so what I told Eric beforehand during my stream was that what's very important is to know what Orochi said to Oden.
exactly.
Because
Yeah.
if he says something that involves his family and the citizens of Wano country as a whole, and let's say they were all threatened by poison or they're threatened by, something of that sort that Oden couldn't himself control, then it
But-
would lead to their, let's say, it would lead to their detriment as,
but King,
like a nation,
yeah.
then of course he's not gonna, act that rash, accept that punishment. But on the flip side, if you look at, let's say, Oden when he's 18 years old or younger, yeah, he's gonna do fuck all because because that's a whole different person. At least as far as we know.
What about Oden when he's a daimyo of Kuri? Has
Yeah, he cared about the people in Kuri and fixed that place up. Yeah.
I can't say that Oden actually changed as when he was the daimyo per se, because he still was kind of the same. Because the problem is that the flashback is so fast paced.
Here's the thing.
That we don't have enough time to kind of analyze Oden's character properly.
Here's the thinking. My problem is, if there was a character change, that's fine, right? I like character development, sure, but there is literally no moment that we have been shown that the character moment happened. So you can say all that, but where has it been shown that his character has changed? There's no grand moment.
Okay. So here's what I would say would change. Number one, and again, because the flashback is so fast, it's hard to kind of gauge that, which is a problem because we can't necessarily analyze his character that well. But the first thing I would say is what he did with Izo, where he cared about Izo's happiness, and so he said that Izo would be much happier because he's very comfortable on Whitebeard's ship. So there's no point in coming back to Wano country because he's better off on Whitebeard's ship anyway. So he cared about Izo's happiness, and so that was first on his mind instead of having him come back to Wano country and being, like whatever, like I care about his happiness. The second thing is I would say just having the kids, because having the kids, you can see how it's subtle, but he takes care of them in his own way, like Momo and Hiri riding on his shoulder and shit as he's running away from creatures, and of course he's not gonna be chatting, going off on his own, or at least for the most part I would say we don't see that. At least I don't recall
when he's on Roger's crew, he still runs
running away.
He still runs ahead and stuff.
But on occasion, but when the kids aren't involved, or when his family's involved, again, he was willing to go back, or he had to go back anyway, I guess. But one of the main reasons why he wanted to go back is because he had to, because Toki.
People are saying in the chat that him seeing the One Piece and learning everything is also a massive turning point.
But
probably.
Here's my problem.
Again, we don't see it. We don't see it.
Here's my problem with saying. Here's my problem with saying that.
Snippets of that.
Here's my problem with saying that, right? Because he comes back to Wano. Toki tries to reason with him to not go attack Orochi. He does it anyway. Almost kills Orochi, and then somehow Orochi convinces him to make a deal with him when he knows Orochi's a scumbag and has scammed his way to the top. Somehow believes him in this deal, and he doesn't even try to attack Kaido once. I
can understand the criticism. Yeah. But we have to wait because we don't know what was said. So that's why I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, because again, to me, Oden has changed, maybe not drastically, but he's changed a bit, and that bit does matter. So it's again. In One Piece,
definitely changed in some way. It's just it's not earned or shown.
It's not earned.
For us to be satisfied.
Here's the thing.
The characters. It's the characters, and I remember talking to just about this because it pertained to Luffy and Usopp and Sanji and other Zoro. A lot of the characters don't go through gigantic changes unless either A, when they're joining the crew, or right after they're right after they're part of the crew. It's Robin, after Alabasta, there was Skypiea, and then Water 7, and then that's when she changed. Well, she changed Daniel's Lobby, so she changed a few arcs later, you could say. But it's not even necessarily a change, but more so we find out how loyal she is to the crew now and what she's willing to do for the crew.
So let me talk to you about it. Let's just bring it back to Whole Cake Island and Sanji, right? Sanji makes a decision. He sticks by it. He realizes he was wrong. He has that realization. He has that character moment. He comes back to the crew. He apologized to Luffy. He changed. He has an arc. He changes in some way.
He's willing to sacrifice some pride to use the raid suit.
To use the raid suit, he's had his arc.
But even before then, it was, and this is something that I think you kind of see in like Tower of God. I don't want to spoil it necessarily speaking, but kind of finding out new aspects of yourself is also part of your own growth.
But King,
Sanji didn't understand, and so Oden, so just how Sanji didn't understand why he was feeling the way he was feeling and why he was so adamant about saving everybody and trying to make sure that everything was a-okay, and he was willing to sacrifice his own life for that. Oden, in the same way, is putting his own pride aside.
But King, my point
whatever
is,
he wants to do, because whatever's going on with the Orochi is so much more important to him than just being the wild man and taking care of business as he normally would.
But King, here's the thing, right? I understand all that. But here's the thing, difference between Sanji and Oden. Sanji, on screen, we get to see the whole thing. Everything happens. Oden, we have to infer, imply, interpret.
Yeah, no, like that's
it's not earned. It's not earned.
For me, the biggest issue of the chapter wasn't the decision per se, it was just the chapter structure. It was just kind of weird on so many fronts, where it's like, you know, it's like we get this whole notion of, because like we don't know why he's doing it per se, but you must assume that it must be heavy at least.
It has to be massive. Of that,
there are certain things, again, like I said before, the entire flashback has been so fast paced that, again, I took like little nuggets here or there. Okay, well, look at how he treated Izo. Boom, you know, something like that. Like that's what I can get, honestly, because Oda just
imagine if like Oden rushes ahead and then Momonosuke is captured on the seas, and then Oden has to go save him, and then he learns something from that. That is something we can point to say his character has definitely changed, and he has earned this 180 character change from a wild man, crazy man, to a man with reason and will sacrifice himself. Because he did a complete 180.
But we're actually seeing it. We're seeing it, whereas the key thing here is that we're not seeing it.
Exactly, we're not seeing it. So it's not earned. That's the problem. It's not the character change and character development is not earned. Yeah. So that's why we're upset.
Well, hold on. Okay, hold on. Is it not earned because could it be earned because of word of mouth or through just let's say
like the reader feels like it's not earned because we haven't seen him develop in a way that points towards that.
We can't emotionally connect with Oden on a real level.
Well, hold on. Okay, well, what if that? Okay, but what if the moment in this chapter is also a part of that development?
It's too hard to say.
In of itself, we're getting it now.
But the decision has to come from the development. The decision can't be the development because we didn't see the deal or what happened there. You know what I mean?
Hold on. It can be, but we just don't know what it is. Hold on. But Eric, it can be. We just don't know.
We know that the deal is the important part of this whole situation.
Right. But
or whatever he said, that matters.
I was talking to you about this morning, but like the whole situation, if the deal is like the deal has to be some immense thing.
It has to be Void Century bullshit. It has to be Void. It has
to be like world-ending situation for it to make sense for him not to strike.
But he strikes anyway 5 years later. So what changed? Like
the deal was broken. That's what changed.
Sure, but why did Oden trust him in the first place?
Yeah,
like all this there's so many question marks.
If there was
on this decision. There's so many question marks.
It may not be trust, because and this is something I think we looked into earlier. It may not be trust, but more so he has no other choice. And what we're getting with Hyogoro and his wife and what happened there is just him saying,
"Well, it's a lost, it's a lost straw."
It's like right now he's backed into a corner, you know.
But that's like, fine. I think
it's been 5 years since then. It's been 5 years.
What we're saying is like.
That's crazy.
What we're saying is though, King, like if he doesn't have a choice, he's going in anyway after 5 years. So it's not like, you know.
It's not like the character development was correct.
He makes a decision to be like, fuck this.
But that's something only in hindsight. And again, this is the problem with the pacing. That it's happening so fast to where the hindsight's almost lost. Oden doesn't know about it right then and there. But after 5 years of doing the same thing and finding out Roger's death and so on, after all these different
And
things,
Mora and Kaido
after
fighting doesn't
5
change
years, all
anything.
right, fine, like,
Yeah,
you know,
we talked
all
about
this
like
different shit. Yeah.
we talked about how
Mora and Kaido's fight and the Sword Saint being stolen doesn't change anything. Like, Roger's death doesn't tweak something in Oden's mind. You know, all these things happen.
Well, maybe it did. Like maybe it was all like one
build up
because like yeah, like it was all a build up, and then he kind of just like it was just too much. Like I think actually even says that
it
was
the final
straw that
yeah.
broke the camel's
yeah,
back.
it does.
Right. So if that that means that there must have been other straws on top of that. So
Sure.
ultimately speaking,
let me
he
say this.
just got it. What's up, talk?
Look, all
like,
I'm saying is like we can say if and but and why and this could be it and all that. That sure it could be, but that's not my problem. My problem is it breaks the story when you make the character development a mystery to the reader. It's a mystery. There are a bunch of options. Pick your poison basically. Pick what reason you want for the character development. There's no confirmation. There's nothing to tell us this is the defining moment.
Well, okay, that's
like,
why I'm not gonna jump the gun because I can understand that this could be either a really good thing or a really bad thing. It just all depends on what the hell was said.
Like
so it's like.
But why keep
Okay,
that?
it's like I can imagine that someone like Dritz would be like, "What the fuck is this bullshit?" But someone like let's say Brago would be more so, "Meh, okay, well let's kind of wait and see."
That's basically what I
But
would.
Right, exactly. I know this shit because it's more so of, for me, you kind of have to take it number one in that moment because the characters, because of course we're the readers, and of course we have, that we have that advantage, of knowing or deducing what's going to happen before it happens, that kind of stuff.
Well,
whereas if the characters drawn and the characters in that moment, look at it from that perspective. Of course, 5 years later, and when that decision happens, it's like okay, like again, it's been half a decade as you do this kind of shit, and then piling on and so on. Like so, when it's the straw that broke the camel's back, we have to assume that what Oden said, or what Orochi said to Oden, must have been tremendous. It must have been crazy.
It has to be crazy,
right? But because the pacing is so fast in the flashback, it's very hard to deduce any sort of change in Oden's character, but there must have been some degree of change. And then on top of that, it's been another half a decade, so even longer than the journey he was with. So longer than his time with Whitebeard or with Roger. A half a decade has to go through all that bullshit, and people are dying anyway.
Let me ask you this very specific question, right? Are you satisfied with Oden as a character at all?
Satisfied?
From what we got from like every character in Wano sucking him off, all that shit. Are you satisfied with Oden's character right now? Does he live up to the legend?
Right now,
are you satisfied as a reader that you understand his character?
Okay. I'll say this: he satisfies me from like a local legend standpoint, but
like a worldly individual.
Yeah, from a worldly standpoint, not really, because
Sakazuki and
right. It's like it's like why do these? I just feel like Sakazuki and Sengoku knew who he was because he's Japanese and he's Wano. Boom. Like, that's the only reason I feel like this, because Oda had to make it so like this crazy Japanese dude is the world renowned, but we're not seeing that world renowned shit because we blitzed by it so much. But in terms of like, let's say, and I'll say that's mainly like in terms of combat ability.
Yeah.
But like, let's say his usefulness to where he can read the poneglyphs, and then he knew Roger, and then he knew Shanks, and then he knew Bug, or like all these guys. Like he does have that that clout, that prestige. He has that. That's true.
Let's take like Corazon for example, right? His flashback, tremendous flashback.
Yeah.
We understand Corazon from A to Z. We love Corazon because we saw his reasoning, his love for law, his grand sacrifice at the end, right? We should care we should care more about Oden than Corazon. Because Oden is the access point of this entire
But here's the thing, we don't understand Oden's philosophy on why the borders should be opened. That's his dream, that's his goal, right? Opening the borders of Wano. and
But
no
that
one
ties to the One Piece treasure itself.
Sure, but Oda keeps on saying we got to open the borders, we got to open the borders,
Right.
and we don't understand what that means and what impacts that has. So we're just lost in this like, we're gonna open the borders, but for some reason Orochi doesn't want to open the borders when it's never being explained. We're 60 chapters deep, and that's all we've gotten for Oden's
We're not
motivations.
invested. Like,
yeah,
we want to see Luffy fuck up.
But we can't be. Well, hold on. But dude, like that's what I've been saying. It's the reason why we have to make like all these assumptions. The reason why we have to, kind of like try and piece in the puzzle when we don't have all the pieces, because everything has been given to us in one big flashback, and it should have been a pantheon. Throughout the rest of Wano. Okay, I did a video, I think in November, where I said that this is gonna be like the best flashback in One Piece, and I said back then that it was going to encompass so many different plot points with Roger, with
Well,
it did, but it would have been throughout the entirety of the remainder of the arc. So like, let's say, because we had the stuff with the scabbards going into the Onigashima, we were going to focus on all the red scabbard stuff now. Then let's say Marco and company come in. Then we have, Marco. We have like let's say through Marco or through whoever, we have then that Whitebeard section of the flashback, and then we get to Roger, and then finally it ends off with either
it would have been nicely paced. It would have been
right. So it would have paced out very nicely, like throughout the entire part of the arc. But now what we're getting is obviously we're just getting this giant clusterfuck of a flashback, and of course one of the main things you have to realize too is that Oda has a plan for 2020, which clearly involves getting back to Sabo and maybe that kind of stuff because he set that up. But it also it involves the Olympics as well. And this is something that Matt B said. I need to do a video of this one. I'm gonna do a video of this one, where essentially when the Olympics hits, I'm pretty sure he wants to have some type of mega epic, like whatever the hell, in One Piece. So like a major climax is going to happen in the story when the Olympics start to go down, because that's clearly going to, because Luffy's one of the mascots of the Olympics. So
does that matter to the story at all?
It's context around what Oda's thinking, but
that's fine.
Because exactly, because that Oda is going to schedule. Oda's like don't be surprised where come like August. There's going to be a lot of crazy events in the arc because it's during the Olympic time, and then another factor here is that and this is like a running theme here, obviously, but in a lot of cases when you go away from the main characters for too long, it winds up dipping the sales as well, because of course we care about the main characters the most. Of course we'll get back to them, but the end game here is that we're spending a lot of time away from the main characters in this grandiose flashback, but at the same time we're getting things like Roger and Rayleigh, like we're compensating. So I feel like Oda kind of had a miss from the very beginning of this flashback, because
it should have just been about Oden and the retainers. It didn't need
like this section should have been Oden and the retainers.
Which is
like
what we
expected
from the start,
the fact that we have this dude, it's crazy. The anime gives us more in like a silhouette flashback of Ashura Doji versus Oden than we actually get in the fucking manga. And it's like that shouldn't happen. The anime shouldn't be left to fill in the blanks that Oda has given us, especially for something as hyped as Ashura Doji and Oden. But that's what we get. What we get is a tremendously quick thing. And then there are weird, even still, like Denjiro is not necessarily, or not, like Denjiro's not necessarily answered.
Why is that still a mystery? I don't know why.
In this chapter, he's just fucking back. It's
he's
like,
chilling,
dude, how's he back?
Okay, he's back.
And then when the kids are doing their song, when they're dissing Oden, they talk about the snakes or the lizards in the official translation, and they note how it's probably like known that Orochi has an ability. Why didn't he use that shit when Oden was right at his goddamn face? That makes no sense. It's like this kind of shit where it's like the structure and the pacing have been for the entirety of Wano, I'd argue, have been poor at best.
He's leaving out key character moments that connect us to the
pivotal character moments, bro. Like one of the things this is why I kind of it's a joke, but at the same time it's kind of serious. No, it is serious. Fuck that. It is serious. I call like past Oda like prime Oda, because
when does that start?
I feel like
when does that start?
For me, it kind of started in Dressrosa where you start to dip. You know, like Zoe was a good point, but it was only really good because of an overall story standpoint. I think Hulking Island has been fantastic overall.
Yeah, that was
But
still 2
then
years.
Wano Country, but then and then Reverie was godlike, but the Reverie's only 6 chapters.
Sure.
And the only reason why I think that Hulking Island is so good is because from a character standpoint, I think it's the best out of the arcs that we've gotten in the post-time skip by far. But Wano Country is the only arc that Oda has hyped up to high heaven.
Yeah.
Oda and his editors, they've hyped up Wano Country, and so Wano Country has to be like the cream of the crop kind of arc, but it's not.
I think at the end of the day, when Wano's done and we look back at it, it all makes sense, and all these moments will be smoothed out, and all be good. But like right now, the viewer experience is unsatisfactory.
Weekly experience is just.
We're
brutal.
all unsatisfied here, right? Every one of us is unsatisfied.
It's
I don't know, man.
Because
for me,
we could have high highs 2 weeks ago, and then we come to here and we're like, "Come on, man." Like,
it's like I would say that like for me, it's like reading certain arcs like after they're done for the most part it's better, but sometimes it's not as good, or like it's the same, or like maybe even worse. Like I would say Hulking Island I think is just as good reading it week to week for me than let's say reading as a whole. Because I kind of understood, because for me, I feel like I understood Sanji's character a lot, and I understood, Jime's character and seeing that growth and development, Big Mom, that was fantastic through and through, and that's a suspense that was very well done. Though I can understand why folks kind of hated the Big Mom.
Even Katakuri's character was perfectly executed. I think
exactly. Yeah, I think Katakuri is just fantastic.
See, the difference is right. There were key moments that hit well and had time to breathe.
Like imagine this with the Katakuri fight. Luffy gets stabbed. We cut over to Sanji. We come back. Katakuri stabbed, and we don't know why. That's exactly what happened here. That's what happened here.
And there's like no comments between like Luffy and Katakuri, like, "Oh, Luffy's becoming stronger. He's starting to understand." There's nothing there, right?
That's what happened in this chapter. Yeah.
My fear right now is that we're not gonna find out what it was until, let's say, later on in this action.
Because Shinobi was there. Because Shinobi was there, and she knows.
And there's no excuse for that. And that's
like we can't sacrifice the current story right now for a hype moment 2 months later. Like we need to understand Oden in the flashback now.
Because we're about to find Kaido, which is directly related to Oden. Like,
all right, so we'll talk about this more in the topic of the show, where I've got notes on what the lore was, what was stated before Act 2, what was stated before this flashback. I've done the research, I've done the work, because I swear to God there were lines about opening the borders, Orochi not wanting that, an invasion with Kaido, an invasion with Orochi, implied set up, and then we get this. So we'll get into it soon.
Also, people commenting on my voice, it's King of Lightning's fault my voice is fucked.
Because you scream me.
His tier 3 subs are wild and out of control.
Oh, you should have drink some water to lubricate the throat.
I got water here, baby.
All right.
My show is lubricated.
All right, boys. Chapter ratings. Look, I'm gonna go first. 4 out of 10 for me. It pissed me off. I feel like, regardless of what this reason is, it won't necessarily fix the problems with this chapter. It's
the problem with Wano in this chapter again.
This chapter is the build-up of the problems with Wano, and we'll get into that soon with the topic of the show. But the problems with this flashback and Oden and his character and Orochi and Kaido to a certain extent as well, because there's so many question marks still with all the relationships and why everything matters. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
4 out of 10 for me. Next week, obviously, the fight with Kaido. The narrator hypes this up. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me, Oda.
The hour of legend.
The hour of legend.
Let's see some good shit.
You gotta show me good shit next week. All right. That's my.
That was my hammer there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go like 5 out of 10. Like I'm getting tired of this situation where we're just like, something happened, we'll find out later. It's
like skipping. Like here's the thing: skipping a fight, not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Skipping a pivotal character moment for a hype reveal later pisses me the fuck off. All right, that's my stance on that.
King, what are you gonna get?
For me, I mean, I was leaning towards a 6, but I can do a 5 myself. It's just that I'm not surprised because I understand how, like, of course, reading it at first I'm surprised, but then in hindsight, yeah, like look at like most of the flashback. That's what it kind of is. We're missing these pivotal moments in a lot of cases, or at least moments that you hope would be pivotal, and then we're just blazing at like the speed of goddamn light. And I'm having, and again, I'm I held off because I understood Oda's gonna get this. At least hopefully he's get to this like next chapter or like at some point
But
in this flashback. I
but
hope.
King, when do
Because
we
that's what
say he
Oda
didn't
kind of
get to
alluding
it?
to.
At what point in time do we say he never got to it?
We're still
When the
waiting for
arc's
Big-
over? Like when the arc's over? Like when do we say he never got to it? You know what I mean? Like if he
Like,
doesn't
it'll
do
be
it,
something- okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Like okay, I'm talking about like relative to like us reading this chapter
yeah,
like today or like the past few days. I'm not talking about, let's say, like we find out what this was when they're in like Raftel or some shit. It's like, nah, dog, like what the fuck?
yeah.
Like, of course that's a bit egregious. Like because I would say,
And I'm not
shit.
accepting.
Okay. I would be willing to go as far as the entire Wano Country arc.
Okay, you're just waiting till the end.
And I'm saying this right now. I'm not accepting a page. I want a full chapter of reasoning, context, and why this makes sense.
Because
You can't
there's
give
so
me-
many
gonna get
questions that have to be answered.
You can't give me 3 panels.
There has
It's
to be
like-
questions like, why doesn't Oden attack Kaido? Why does Oden even trust Orochi? Why does he need ships? Why does he need Kaido's help?
How does he feel about the situation?
What does
learned
Kaido
on his
say
journey?
about this? Why does Kaido even make a deal and not just kill him? Like, there's so many questions. Like,
How do they feel about the cultural situation? How do they feel about the samurai and the men and the aspect of that?
why
And
doesn't
how
Kaido
one is
send
corrupted?
him to Udon and break his will? He committed a crime. Well, there's so many questions. There's so many questions that aren't answered. Like,
All right.
need to be answered. All right.
Next
now,
week, give me that spicy.
we got to get that
heat.
spicy fight. We've got to get that spicy cut of that endless strike on Kaido. Give it to us, all right? Give it to us. The legendary hour, apparently.
Yeah, I think the way Eric said last time, it was like he's almost like begging folks, like, yeah, stick around, stick around.
Yeah, stick
Yeah.
around, please.
He's
Read the next
basically-
chapter. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you have to stick around, you know.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, bro.
All right.
So we're gonna transition to the next segment. Now, how this works is, I say we're going to the next segment. The thing plays, and then I say we're back, and then we can talk. All right?
Okay.
Because it's live, and I'm doing crazy OBS bullshit. All right?
Transition.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. On to How Strong is Shanks. And we're back. How strong is Shanks? The live sermon. Alright. Now, first thing on the agenda is King of Lightning. I have noticed that you say prayers to Katakuri.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I'm not necessarily accusing you of plagiarism, but it seems oddly familiar to the How Strong is Shanks segment.
What the fuck?
Now, just be honest with me. Were you influenced by this segment to
No.
Were
worship?
you
Okay.
influenced
Answers
by the
no.
word?
Answers no. You know why? No. This is right here. Bro, right here is an easy clap. Easy clap.
Okay,
you know why?
go,
Because there's no Shanks theme song. Easy.
There is.
There is, and we played at the
There-
start of the
there's not.
segment.
The
We played the start
segment.
of the segment.
The segment has
The segment has a jingle.
and there's usually church music
That's
going
not the
on,
Shanks
yeah.
theme song, dog. That's like a One
You
Piece
can't play that
thing.
because we'll get copyright stricken on YouTube, and you know
I
that.
play the Katakuri theme all the fucking time, dog.
on Twitch.
And on YouTube. What do you mean? I have the fucking daily prayers.
All
Like,
right, all right.
Shanks has-
The
Shanks
witch
has
hunt,
two things,
right? The witch hunt is over. All right.
And please stop using God King because there's only one God King, and you
Exactly.
accept that Shanks is God King already.
I tell you that my boy is Charles Barkley Katakuri. All right, he's a whole different entity, bro. Trust me, he's a whole
All
different
right.
deity.
the
okay?
the
We're clean.
Grand Inquisition
Clean.
is over.
But,
Yeah,
King is cleared
But
of
you
all
will-
charges.
fucking
but
assholes
King,
over here.
you will admit that Shanks is a higher god. than Katakuri, because
Only a bit. Like
Only a bit.
like
So
only
he
a
admits
smidge.
it. So he admits it.
Katakuri can be the god.
All right.
Shanks is the king.
Like
Alright.
Shanks, like until Blackbeard kills him.
With fucking one shot.
Until Blackbeard kills him,
This is
Katakuri,
this is
takes over.
this is
Alright,
blasphemy.
right.
This is blasphemy.
You're gonna get thrown out of church, king, if you don't be careful. Okay.
All right. Now
Oh,
onto the sermon, as it were. Right, the business is over. How strong is Shanks? All right. Every week, we come to you with the question: is how strong is Shanks? And the answer is, Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is the God King. Now that's obvious to most people, but there are people out there who think Kaido's the strongest. There are people out there who think Blackbeard's the strongest. Okay. There are people out there who think Dragon's the strongest. The man who didn't even turn up to Reverie. Okay. Alright. There are people out there who think Mihawk's the strongest. That's a new one. Okay, Mihawk, alright. And then we have people who think the sweatiest man on the planet, Alkaun, is the strongest. Navy stands, man. What are you going to do against them, you know? And then the worst of them all, the people who think Aimu is the strongest. No evidence at all.
AIDS.
well, Aimu's like God, Umi. Well, I don't know, bro. Whatever. He could be shit.
And every week we come with 100% genuine factual information. And we tell the people why Shanks is the strongest. And this week's evidence is Shanks is so strong. There is a mystical barrier so strong that not a sword that could cut Kaido could scratch his magical barrier. It is said that this barrier is indeed unbreakable. Alright? The barrier no me. Uncuttable. Unbreakable. Enma couldn't cut it. The sword that cut Kaido, as we all know. The legend has it that Shanks is the only one with strong enough haki to break the unbreakable barrier. Shanks is the strongest. Shanks is the God King. And there it is. Alright. There's the evidence. Next is topic of the show. Again, the transition will play and then we'll talk. Alright. Topic of the show. What is going on with Oden? And we're going to figure it out, alright? Alright, we're back. What the fuck is going on? Now,
We'll start from the top.
Let me start it from the top. When we first hear about Oden's legend in chapter 919, the legends say that Oden was an evil man for wanting to open the borders of Wano. Alright? And Orochi appeared and defeated this man 20 years ago, making Wano peaceful. Straight up lie. Yep. Orochi did not appear, he was the Shogun, so how did he appear? And there is no mention of the borders being opened to Orochi, to Kaido, to anyone. So what are they talking about?
Not yet.
Alright?
But this is a legend to dismay Oden's name.
Exactly.
So.
This is a legend designed to reduce Oden to nothing, alright?
Right.
Toki's whole prophecy when she died and gave the 20-year prophecy is directly related to opening the borders of Wano, which we still have no idea what that's about and why that's important to Toki.
Turn a Joy Boy or something like that.
Why that's important to Toki, why that's important to Oden, alright?
It could be possible that Oden tells Toki about what the One Piece is, maybe. Right. And then this then sways her to do what she does, potentially.
The question is, how does Toki even have these powers of prophecy when we have no idea what she does or who she is? That has to be explained before the prophecy happens, alright? Or she just has a random prophecy. It's not like it's established she's the Madame Shirley of her time. She has not made one prophecy yet. Where's this coming from?
She hasn't really done anything at all.
Yeah, where's this prophecy coming from? You know?
It seems to me like she just did a guess. I'm not trolling you.
She's
like
just
she knew, she knew that she was gonna send them 20 years to the future, and then she proclaimed a prophecy just simply based on that.
Okay, that could be the answer.
Meaning, like she didn't actually see the future, but she put them 20 years into the future because that's what she can do, and boom.
All right.
And then she said right there, just her last words. So it lives on for the next 20 years, and
Yeah.
like the fee of the the Kozuki clan, shit like that.
All right. Next point. When we first see the castle on fire in that little flashback panel on 920, we all remember it, kind of in the front.
Yeah.
Castle's on fire. It is implied through Kinemon that Oden went to attack Orochi and Kaido came in the rear to set the castle on fire. But in this chapter, it states Oden is going after Kaido. So what's the story there? Is that
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, I guess. But
yeah,
like it implies that Kaido invaded the country with Orochi to take the throne because that's what we originally thought at this point in the story, because of what we got. Because we thought Oden was going to open the borders, and Orochi was like, "No, don't open the borders." So I'm going to send Kaido in, and I'm gonna kill you, boiling you alive. That's what it was implied.
Well,
in those chapters.
No, because they didn't specify any
They didn't
time frame
specify.
of the story.
But
like they didn't specify anything.
It's
They just said
super...
Kaido was there. Like Kaido had Orochi had Kaido's backing, and the daimyos couldn't do shit. And then,
but it's
Oden,
weird
then,
because
and then Oden got fucked.
It's weird
like,
because
nothing was specified.
The first thing that was stated between like Oden and Orochi's rivalry was the whole opening of the borders, and that because Oden is an evil man because he wants to open the borders, when in fact it's a coup. It's not like he had any power to open the borders and was going to do it, and then Orochi came in with Kaido and stopped him. It's a coup. Like Oden's coming in to kill Orochi from polluting Wano, right? That's what it's about.
And we'll see what
happens there. Yeah.
Next point.
It is also stated that Orochi killed Oden by boiling him alive, and that Kaido burnt down the castle, which we'll see. We'll see next week what happens there, right? After the time travel event, Kinemon states that he did not recognize Wano country as there were factories and pollution all over Wano, when we see in this flashback there are factories already all over Wano 7 years before
and he's been building
this flashback. And Oden states himself, Orochi has turned this land into a hellscape. So what happened?
Which he already did.
Yeah. So Kinemon goes back, travels 20 years in time, and notices the factories now? Or is there some sort of kind of retcon-y sort of mistake happening here?
No. It was because it was Curry. That's why. The other factories are like elsewhere. Curry had no factories then, as far as we know.
But he didn't say Curry. He said the land of Wano.
Because Curry was away.
He said
all. Then.
But King, he said literally all of Wano. All the waterways are polluted. There are factories literally everywhere. He says that he doesn't say Curry. He says all of Wano when he comes back in the future.
If that's the case, then is all of Wano like that now? I mean, always see some factories as far as I recall.
But Oden said
no. Like it's not like the waters are completely polluted now. It's not like, we have like mutant creatures running around and shit like that now.
But Kinemon said it's completely unrecognizable, as if he didn't know that factories existed, as if Wano was prosperous before Orochi took over.
I mean, yeah, okay.
So that's why I'm saying it's weird. It could be explained, but all I'm saying, it's a little weird that we have these little offhand remarks that don't necessarily connect to now. Like
they make sense.
They make sense if you twist them a bit, but they don't necessarily fit well into the what we've been told about Wano. So all those little evidence things about Wano used to be prosperous before Orochi took over and before Oden's death, kind of makes it seem like Orochi took over when Oden died and made Wano a bad place, right? That's what it would imply, if we're talking about all those chapters. 50 chapters ago. And now we have this situation here where Orochi was already polluting Wano. He already was developing weapons. He already had Udon and the prison. And he's already a tyrant. He's been 7 years. It's been
he does.
Yeah. So for 7 years, Orochi has already been doing this stuff. Torturing people, killing people, making them work forced labor. The factories, the pollution, it's already been going on. So that's where it gets confusing when Like, when you think, like, what is the conflict between Oden and Orochi when it was, like, initially stated about the borders, but now it's just about Orochi being a tyrant? Like, there's, like, a kind of a disconnect there from the start of the arc to now. Do you get what I'm saying?
Is there?
Yeah, because the borders have never been brought up to Orochi. Like, Orochi doesn't hate Oden because he wants the borders. Orochi hates Oden because he doesn't want him to take the throne, because he wants
We still
power.
haven't, we still haven't
okay,
seen
yeah,
why
but
the
the
borders
border,
being
yeah,
open
but
is bad.
well, no, because the borders thing is bad because they have to be open for the return of Joy Boy.
Yeah,
So we just
again,
found out like last chapter essentially where okay now he has a reason because normally at first the reason was to just leave Wano because it's stifling. Now the reason is we have to open the goddamn borders because we must make sure that Wano is ready for the second
in
coming
10
of Joy
years,
Boy,
which didn't happen.
which is
Yeah.
gonna probably play a role somehow, some way. You know, I don't know, like maybe like Zunisha carries I don't know Wano or some shit like that. I don't
Yeah,
fucking know.
some bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, like shit like that.
Yeah.
Because then it's gonna be more so Wano is now ready for this major world-changing event because there's gonna be some global war and so on and so forth. So the whole point here is that now that he knows the truth, the borders must be open. But he hasn't told that to anyone else, which is kind of weird as to why Toki would be so gung ho on opening the borders
Yeah, but
before she dies in the fire.
Also, we don't know how Orochi feels about that at all. Like, we don't know how Orochi feels about opening the borders. He just states, like, we need to trade weapons. That's all we really get on it. He's like, we need to trade weapons. Like, did Oden tell him about the Joy Boy and why opening the borders is important? Did he ever tell him that? Like, we don't... Because he dies next chapter, right? So how does Orochi even find out?
He dies soon.
He dies soon. Like, relatively, in, like, the next day, in, like, One Piece time, he dies. So we have to know... He has to tell Orochi about the borders at some point, right? Otherwise, like... How does Orochi even know Oden's plan? You know what I mean? Like, it has to make sense in some kind of way like that.
Well, you assume this deal has to be like, we need to prepare for Joyboy's return. You have to do this.
Yeah.
And like all right.
Yeah. So after the time travel and Kinnamon's back in Wano, Orochi wants Momonosuke dead because it undermines his throne. But we see it 7 years ago, where Oden returns and he doesn't give a fuck, and he's like, you can live in Kuri, you can live free, I'm not gonna kill your family line, when he had him in the palm of his hands for like 5 years, and then after they return he wants them dead now to stop the Kazuki clan? Like, what's going on
because
there?
again the prophecy told by Toki was that they were going to return and make sure that he was going to pay and suffer for what he's
King,
done.
the reason we get for that from Kinnamon's mouth is that Orochi wants to take out the Kazuki clan's legacy.
Yes.
But why didn't he want to do that 20
Because there's still
ago?
a threat. That's the thing. It's like, again, the threat was already indicated by Toki that they were going to come back and they were going to take his head. He was going to die. All right. And then, well, on top of that was that when the fire was burning, they only found her body, or they never found Hiri's body, or like they never found any other bodies aside from Lady Toki's body. So it was implied that, and then plus they're very spiritual. I mean, they have mountain gods and shit like that.
Yeah.
So because of that reason, they never found the bodies, only her body, and so on. It was believed that they would come back as ghosts or kind of stuff to take revenge on Orochi. And so on top of all of that, then you have the whole thing with people over the course of time are going to only hate him more and more and more and more and more. So just how with Oden, when they were, stoked to see Oden, like, oh my God, Oden, thank God you're here. We have a new shogun coming in. Just how that happened when he first came back, Momo will be the same way where, okay, like there's someone that actually has the claim to be the shogun now, and he's coming back after all this time where we've been suffering and the prisoner of mind is going on and so on. So over the course, again, that's the problem. Again, the main problem is pacing and structure.
Yeah.
5 years have passed since what we got from like the middle of chapter to like the end of the chapter. And in this case, it's been 20 years. So 20 long years of cruelty, pain, and so on. Fuck Orochi. It's time to get him out.
King, I will remind you that everyone hates Orochi.
They're already hating him right now because they're cheering for Oden in this chapter.
Yeah, but Oden bitched out for 5 years.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
After he fights Kaido, they're back on his side. because I don't like him now.
Because there was 5 years where the people of Wano started to resent Oden because he was
They
acting like a
resent
fool.
Oden. Yeah, they resent Oden.
And when Kinemon travels back in time, travels through time and arrives in Wano, there are instant Kazuki supporters, as if Oden was like some sort of hero to the nation of Wano, when he did nothing for 5 years and then lost to Kaido.
Yeah, and it's stated that he's hated right now. So I
Yeah.
guess he gets his status back when he fights Kaido and dies. Is that what happens?
Like,
I don't know.
apparently there were all these Kazuki sympathizers, but where were they when Oden was alive and for 5 years?
Apparently nowhere, because no one liked him but his retainers and his wife.
Yeah. So like there was all these weird like mismatches going on. It's like what's implied and what we actually got. Because you can say not necessarily, but it's kind of like it doesn't really fit cohesively. Like there's all these like weird questions as to why certain things happen and why what we're getting now. It's like all these like weird things. Also, Doflamingo wanted Momonosuke as he got information from Kaido. Like, how do we forget that? Like, they're stated as ghosts and shit, but Doflamingo and Kaido know Momonosuke is alive, and Orochi's like not looking for them because he thinks they're
Also,
ghosts. Like,
has it been ruined that like Orochi's scared of like myths and ghosts and stuff when he has outside context from the family members he has right now because he knows about Devil Fruits. So clearly
but they're still superstitious about that. It's like he has outside context, but he himself has actually gone outside to experience these things. He has actually ventured outside and experienced the world like Oden has.
Sure.
So yeah, like in fact, when you look at I think in the chapter in the Viz one, he refers to the Mane Mane as a sorcery, like an ability. Yeah. I think so. Whereas the Baba calls it, a devil fruit, or she knows to be deep power. Just how the old guy, he does it. He calls it like the barrier jutsu or barrier skill, something like that.
But they know the devil fruits.
All right, so let me just go through the flashback.
Of course they know it's devil fruits.
Let me just go through the flashback and what we got and what happened. All right. So Oden starts his flashback off as a punk kid doing whatever he wants, fucking around Wano. A lot of people hate him. He's a fuck up, all that kind of shit. All right. Then he has the dream of wanting to go out and discover the world, but he can't sail because he sucks, alright? He does the pig incident, gathers some men with him. Then he cleans up Kuri because he hates the stench of murder, of blood. He cleans up Kuri, makes it nice. He gets the approval of his father, becomes a daimyo. So at that moment, that's the character development, right? He started off as a punk kid, doing whatever he wanted. Realized that he had to change and grow and lead people, and he got rewarded for it by his father, who he was disowned before. Whitebeard appears. He can finally achieve his dream, and he goes out to sea with Whitebeard. Meanwhile, Orochi takes the throne. He's a tyrant with Kaido. He has Kaido's backing for some reason, which we still don't know. Like, why the fuck does he have Kaido's backing? I have no idea. We're in the dark about that.
It's assumed because of the weapons factory.
It's assumed because of the weapons factory, but like, there has to be some sort of relationship connection there. Like, what's going on there? How did Orochi approach Kaido, or did Kaido approach Orochi? All those kinds of things aren't still answered. So Whitebeard's he's on Whitebeard's ship. He discovers Toki, just on the beach, finds her, marries her. They go out to sea and they have adventures. Roger takes Oden with him to read the poneglyphs. He reads a few of them. Drops has to do the round trip again. Drops Toki off at Wano after they reach there again. He notices the damage Orochi's doing to Wano and leaves anyway because
you can feel it. He doesn't witness it.
Well, you can see the smoke. You can see the factories in the background, so it's happening.
Well, I mean, we don't know why, but he just he just turned around and said, "I just can't face it. Like I'm just gonna go off." So,
he reaches Laugh Tale and finds out the secrets of the world, and then he wants to open the borders for Wano so Joy Boy can do something. We don't know what Joy Boy's gonna do, but he's gonna do something. When Wano's borders are opened, for some reason, like why does the borders have to be opened? Is that a physical thing? Is that a metaphorical thing? How does that work? Because if it's metaphorical, just how does that let Joy Boy in? Well,
is it? He's saying, is it like a policy or is it an actual physical venue?
No. Something is going to genuinely just how
It has to
with
be
Fish on Island.
Yeah, it
Fish
has
on
to be
Island is
physical,
gonna
right?
get fucked at some point. It's gonna be physical. Like someone's gonna go down, like for sure. And also, that's probably the reason why Zunisha and the Minks are also tied with the Kuzu clan as well. Again, like I was half joking, but don't be surprised if that elephant pulls the entire goddamn country somewhere.
Just like what does the Red Line and Wano have in common? They're both raised out of the sea, so there might be something connected there. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the Red Line I think was something. Well, the Red Line actually we don't know. It was just kind of.
But it looks like they look like they're both raised out of the sea.
They're both raised out of the sea. They both have waterfalls going up them. There's some similarity.
There's like connections there with the Red
on
Line.
Reverse Mountain, but I would say more so because I remember there was an old spoiler kind of theory where one of the ancient weapons actually caused the crazy underwater volcanic chain that caused the Red Line.
I think I think Uranus might be like a terraforming device where you can like raise shit out of the ground.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But
anyway,
I would say, I would argue that when it comes to the Red Line, that's going down.
That's going down for sure.
For sure.
So I think opening the borders has to be some sort of physical thing. Maybe that's why he needs Kaido. I don't know, because in this chapter he's like, we need boats and we need Kaido. Like, why do you need Kaido? Like, what's the story with that?
No, wait, I thought he said...
In the chapter he says, what's this, like, we need boats, and what about Kaido? That's the question he poses.
Yeah, but he didn't say that he needed Kaido.
But, like, it's a weird, like, implication of, like, I need boats, and what about Kaido? Like, there's some deal with Kaido? Like, what's Kaido gonna do?
Oh, wait, hold on. I would like to build a number of new weapons factories, and I want your help, Oden. But Shogun, what of the ships? And then ... question mark, exclamation mark. You know, with Kaido.
Yeah.
So is Kaido making the ships?
Guess, like,
something like that.
Kind of guy, yeah.
So Kaido's involved in this deal in some way. All right. So he gets back to Wano. He goes and attacks Orochi for attacking his family and destroying the country. Gets stopped. Makes some deal that we don't know about with Kaido and Orochi. 5 years pass. 5 years pass. Orochi goes back on the deal that was made. He captures Hyo and kills his wife and kills his men. Oden's had enough, and he's gonna go kill Kaido. Not Orochi. He doesn't say I'm gonna go kill Orochi. He says specifically, it's time to slay Kaido. What does he say there? He says something about Kaido, right?
The time has come to strike down Kaido.
Exactly. It's time to come to strike down Kaido. He doesn't say Orochi. So he's upset more of Kaido than Orochi when we really don't know the relationship between Oden and Kaido. Like, we never got a conversation between them. Like, why does he want... Like, sure, Kaido's the muscle, but what's the relationship there? Why does he understand that Kaido?
That was weird, too. That makes sense to me either. Like, I was like, why Kaido, dog? Like, what?
So, after in the throne room, the old priest says, if this was about brute force, we would have already been dead. And then 5 years later, Oden's big idea is to use brute force to take out Kaido. Like,
and Kaido's going to be taken out by brute force.
And Kaido's also going to be taken out by brute force in this war.
Yeah, okay, but again, it's like, we don't know if Oden or the retainers, you know, Kinemon, Raizo, Kiku, if they're actually like planning this out. Like, they're just going. Like, they're just like, there seems like no plan, let's do some, let's get the ninja to research Kaido's ability. Let's get some, let's do all this. Like, they're just going.
We've talked about this before, right? There is a planning meeting that we don't see.
In current time, but not now. We don't know about now.
Yeah, in current time, but not beforehand, right? The first time they attack. So there is a round table meeting that the Straw Hats and the Ninja have and the Samurai have before they, move out. So there might be a plan in that regard. And Law maybe have some plan as well that's going to go down.
Right, but is this happening in the flashback, though?
Yeah, that's what we don't know.
That kind of, because like even when it comes to the plan stuff, like and this happens a lot, where like if you want to look at Luffy as being like the head of the retainer, like like Oden and Luffy are very similar.
Oden's
Luffy is not the plan guy. Oden's not the plan guy. It's like the other people have to plan for him.
Apparently, Kinemon's the mastermind of the scabbards.
Yeah. I mean,
Look,
whatever.
Here's the thing. We know what happens. We know what happens as a result of this attack, right?
Well, they lose. Yeah,
they lose. The castle's set on fire. The scabbards rush back to the castle. It's on fire. So it's stated that at least Kaido's command is to set the castle on fire, not necessarily Kaido himself. So did they go to Onigashima and lose, and then come back on boats, and then witness the castle on fire? Did they go to the flower capital? But they said they're taking down Kaido.
Okay. So remember how they said before how when they tried this the first time, like Kaido's boys went on the flank and like they attacked the castle.
Yeah.
Well, by the time Kinemon Company returned
to the
castle, it's like on fire, right? So I mean, like, actually no. In this chapter, they say it was a public execution, right?
Yeah, it's a public execution. He's boiled alive publicly.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't that take, like, time and procedure? Hold on, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens when
so
that happens.
So Oden fights Kaido. Oden loses, and then he's executed publicly via boiling alive, while the Scabbards run to Kuri, because that takes time, right? You gotta run to Kuri. At least a couple of days. They run to Kuri, castle's on fire, Toki does her prophecy, and they all teleport into the future. Right? But there are a few issues with that, because they say they're attacking Kaido in this chapter, but that would mean they would have to go to the capital and attack Orochi, and then Kaido is summoned, like, a roundabout way.
Like, are they going to the flower capital or to Onigashima? Which way?
That's the confusing thing, because it's like, if they attack him in Onigashima, how do the Scabbards get back to the mainland in Kuri to go to the castle? And then
maybe Kaido's chilling in the castle, like.
Maybe Kaido just appears every time Orochi's attacked. He's got that observation.
I mean, he's a giant, like 1 kilometer dragon, so it's like,
just fly over instantly.
Fly over. Okay, dude, like, I'm already here. My head is already here. I'm ready to complain.
We've got a couple of donos, one from Cameron, which I think is kind of related to this. Okay. Why are we supposed to care about these characters? I don't understand. I thought this flashback was supposed to make us care, but it hasn't. I'm lost.
Exactly. That's our main problem. It's like there's so many question marks like, why does Orochi ally with Kaido? Why does Oden think this? Why does Oden do this? Why do the Scabbards like Oden so much?
This is the problem with this flashback.
Yeah.
Because if he had spent all this time, instead of doing all of this, instead of these, like, let's say, one chapter 900. Let's say from chapter 959 to 969, we just did the Scabbard, and that was it. We would have cared a lot more for them than we do now.
Yeah, but we've done the whole thing, and
All right. So there we go.
Okay,
so things still play out. Well, again, it's kind of annoying that we have to keep on saying wait and see for the entire.
Dude, it's been 60 chapters, over 60 chapters,
and we still don't understand really.
Chapters. Like, Thriller Bark's over. Marineford finished twice now. Like, how much time does one need to get good?
And it's like we need to establish emotional connections between the characters that are involved pretty quickly. Otherwise, we're just fucking around.
Yeah.
Well, look, Wano has good moments, but here's the thing, though. To be fair, like, I think because we've already got a lot of stuff beforehand with Kinemon and Momo, it's like those two among the Scabbards you care for. Well, like, Kinemon you care for the most, obviously, because we got with Inuarashi and Nekomamushi in Zou, we care about them too. Yeah. Okay, fine. But, like, the others, so Denjiro, Ashidoji, Kiku,
we know literally nothing about Denjiro.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then, like, Raizo's cool and all, but, just nin. That's it, all right, fine. Like, Ninja, yay.
Like, could you imagine, the relationship between, like, actually Oda showing us the relationship between, like, Raizo and, like, the Minx in this flashback to make that moment even stronger than it already was?
Honestly, it's like one of the things I really wanted to see was Kinemon, like, even the characters they care about with the Scabbards.
Yeah.
Kinemon learning the Firefox style. Like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, how do we get from this punk ass bitch punk, like that can barely take on a freaking god pig thing, and then now he has the Firefox style. He's a goddamn beast, and he knows all these techniques.
Well, it was in the montage.
Karamatsu. It's like no. The problem again. This is the fucking problem. The problem is that Oda is just like, yo, let me just get to the goddamn finish line because he wants to go on a journey around the world. That's his play in like 5 years' time. If he wants to do that, then all this stuff is going to be just pretty much anime, fill in the blanks.
All right, so I have a few things we need to know.
If you're not watching the anime, better start now.
Anime's fucking trash, and you shouldn't watch it.
Better start now,
So I watch it every week, and it's bad, all right? I don't know what to say. So there are some standout great moments, King, but On average, not good. All right, come on.
Bro, I'm just really hoping that the raid suit doesn't suck, bro.
Bruh, I bet the one thing they're gonna fuck up with the fights is the raid suit.
They're just gonna make Sanji look bad. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean, they made Luffy look bad with Batman.
I have this fucking genius idea where it's like, if they fuck up scenes, I'm gonna do them right myself on like a channel, like for real.
You're gonna have a lot
like
of money,
I'm gonna get like a bunch of lads who are
Yeah.
willing to throw down for some animations, and we'll all work together. I'll split the pay, of course, obviously.
Okay.
And then we'll have like these
Sanji,
like
he's gonna do
5-minute epic
Sanji
scenes.
Yes, he's gonna do Sanji justice, right?
I will do fucking Sanji justice.
Alright.
Absolutely, I'll do him justice.
All right. So by the time this flashback is over, we need to answer these questions for the war to feel good and for us to be in a good place to start this battle off in the right way. All right. Things we need to know. Why does Kaido need Orochi and how this relationship works at all? Because we have no clue how that works. Is Kaido the mastermind? Is Orochi the mastermind? Is Kaido just a hired goon with muscle? Like, does Kaido have some ultimate scheme? We don't know anything. Like, we literally know nothing about that. What's the deal between Orochi and Oden? Like, why do they hate each other so much? We don't really know. It's just like Orochi's a mustache twirling villain. There's no like real. There's no. But King, there's no like moral.
Orochi and his
themes.
actions are the reason why Toki
Yeah,
got like
but-
an arrow shot through her leg, and then he got fucking dude. He ran in there because his kids.
But
and,
yeah, sure.
I mean,
but what I mean is like, what is the philosophy behind their rivalry or their hate between each other? Like,
philosophy.
Because he's the main villain of the arc.
The philosophy
Like-
is you fucked with my family, therefore
King,
die.
Doflamingo had a philosophy with his family, what he did, what he was about. Right? We knew it. Big Mom.
Okay.
But Orochi's the villain.
Okay, Orochi's his philosophy is live well, eat hearty,
And make money.
have a lot of sex, and make money. Goddamn right.
Okay,
His
that's
philosophy is I wanna live the life of luxury as much as possible. All right.
Do you think that flashback?
Kaido's philosophy.
Do you think we've got that in that flashback? Like we saw him poor, okay, and then we get some prophecy that it was destined to be the Shogun, and now he's gung ho, and then he gets it, and then we're missing a few pieces between that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he had backing, and then of course because of the old lady, the Baba and the old dude, he had that backing, and then he got the powers of the Mrs. Double Fruits, that kind of stuff. So he gained a lot more confidence, and then he followed because the Baba convinced Orochi that I gotta just kill these people.
It's basically the same story as Doflamingo, but Orochi never tasted that wealth. Like the grandma is treble to what is Doflamingo. Like Treble convinced him to run this crime family, but the difference between that is Doflamingo already hated his situation because he knew what it was to be wealthy and have power, and then it was stripped away. Where Orochi is just poor, he's just a commoner. He's not like he's destitute. He can't make a living. He's poor. He's hungry.
I guess what we're looking for is like usually the villains of the arcs or villains in general like are the complete opposite in theming towards the arcs themes, right?
Yeah.
They cause problems for the themes of the arcs and why their philosophy on that specific theme is justified and why the hero's theme is justified in that way.
But they're justified because Orochi is causing look at Wano Country now. Like Wano Country is they're justified in the fact that the country itself has suffered tremendously because of his selfish actions.
Yes, but what is the themes that are directly opposed between Oden and Orochi?
Like, we know Oden's dream, and we've been told this 1,000 times, is to open the borders. Why does Orochi hate that idea?
Okay.
That's all we need to know. That's what we need to know.
The border thing may not be the primary factor, because the borders being closed just could be an end to a means. Because Orochi, he's of course very frugal. The man cares about money a lot. He cares about women a lot when it comes to sex, when it comes to food, that kind of stuff. Whereas someone like Chaden is willing to, he's willing to throw away his pride for assumingly the people of Wild Country and his family. He's willing to, not eat as good as food. He's willing to. He gave beforehand. He willingly gave Orochi money because of Kozuki. Because of Yasue. So it's like if you look at the mindset, like Oden is beloved and he is generous and he's kind and he's headstrong, whereas Orochi is conniving, he's sniveling, he's very greedy. So like they're polar opposites in that sense.
Sure. And that's it, right? That's what it is. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not a open borders versus a closed borders. It's not that kind of like immigration thing.
Yeah, because the border things, it doesn't happen until they find out what the One Piece is.
Yeah.
Boom.
Okay. So
also okay, borders now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question and answer.
All right. Next thing we need to answer is how does Oden get the support of Curry back in one night? How does he do that?
Does he?
Because they go 20 years into the future and the support for the Kazuki clan is off the chain. Is die hard. There's like Kinemon appears into the future and he's like, "Oh, the Kazuki clan's back."
No. It was already stated in the chapter because in the chapter, what was it? In the chapter, yeah, when Yasue is talking, they allude to, and those few whom he owed a personal debt.
Personal debt to a few people, not an entire subsect of Wano.
It's like 4,000 dudes, and then again, it's okay. Hold on. Number one, it's 4,000 dudes. Number two, it's been 20 years since then.
I thought they meant like characters like Yasue, like Hyoguro. I didn't necessarily think it was like commoners and like that kind of.
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of folks would still be big fans of. Because I
mean,
remember,
and according to the narrator, this is a moment of legend, an hour of legend. So
right, exactly.
We'll see how that goes. All right. And
we'll get that answer shortly.
And can someone
next chapter be goddamn good.
Yeah, Oden says it's gonna be good, alright? Oden's got something cooking.
Oden's be nice with this shit, alright? If it's not like God.
Alright, that's the thing. And those are the things we have to know.
And now, dear audience, let not your eyelids blink, lest you miss a single moment, bro.
He's hyping it.
Oh my god.
All right, so that's what we need to know. A few basic things. I hope we get the why Kaido even cares about Orochi at all. Like, I would love to know that. Fascinating. Would do wonders for Kaido's character and Orochi's character.
It'd be good if Kaido had a character.
Yeah, because if Kaido did something. Like, he doesn't say anything or do anything. Like, we'll see it next week, I guess.
Well, maybe Kaido, because I had a theory, or like mid-review reaction where I was like, maybe it was because of the Kurozumi family, like the two old people. Maybe they actually convinced him to go over to Wano Country.
Maybe Kaido is a part of the clan.
Yeah, maybe Kaido's part of the clan. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Like the
Kurozumi Kaido.
Maybe it's possible.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's maybe that's a reason.
That's juicy.
Yeah, maybe that's a reason. Maybe the theory of him being originally from Onigashima is true. We don't know.
Maybe he was kicked out of the country for being a monster, and the Kazuki family did that to him, and he's got some grudge against them. There's something. There has to be something.
There has to be something about that, all right?
And also, I just noticed that too, that the Kurozumi, so Orochi, the old lady, and the old man, all have doffy powers. Yeah. All of them. So, and I don't think anyone from their side, like the other side, does. No. Well, like,
when did he get like?
No. Me like Oden, and I guess Sukiyaki.
Okay.
Like they have their powers, Yeah.
Well, Toki, I get it.
Oh, fair. True.
Okay,
True.
so that's that segment over. Now we're debuting a new segment. We used to have the power scale, but now we have a segment called the Thunderdome, and we'll get into it. All right. After this little segment break, we'll get into the Thunderdome, right? See you on the other side. And welcome to the first ever Thunderdome. Alright, what is this segment? It is 1v1's death battle matchups. We used to do the tiers, we ran out of characters, and now those characters will fight to the death. Now how this works is, you can see on the screen, I have made a 3D environment, which is the arena of the Thunderdome. It's an island. You can't escape it. It's got water. It's got a forest area. It's got a little plateau area for, a bit of sniping, a bit of, we've got a whole bunch of areas where people can fight.
We tried to make it as fair as possible.
Because, One Piece has a range of different fighting styles. You got your snipers, you got your fishmen.
Now, King of Lightning is on this channel, and we've had issues with him and the power scaling before. So let's calm it down. I think the matchup this week we can all agree on.
The matchup this week is... Now, how do you submit matchups for the Thunderdome?
Yeah.
I can't even see this thing, bro. Where's this thing?
Check it on YouTube. Check the YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in the corner. Alright, so... First, how do you submit to the Thunderdome? Well, be a $5 and up Patreon on Redforce Podcast Patreon, and you can submit your matchups to the Thunderdome. Now, it is a tournament situation, so be very careful of who you put in there. If you put a character that's a bad matchup, he's going to lose, and then he'll never be on the segment again. So, make your picks known. Make your picks wisely if you want them to win the bracket. Alright. Characters that can fight are people in the same tier as the power scale. We want a discussion. We don't want an all-out death, just destruction. Otherwise,
It's
there's
a
nothing to talk about.
bloodbath. Yeah.
We don't want a bloodbath because then there's nothing to talk about. All right. So
Shout out to the dog in the background. Holy shit.
yeah, going off. All right. Can't do much about that. Next door. All right. First matchup comes in from Jordan Lee, who has written an essay about this. First matchup: Rayleigh versus Don Quixote do Flamenco.
Spicy.
A very interesting matchup. All right.
Let's go with first initial thoughts.
First initial thoughts. We all think Rayleigh's gonna win. All right. It's Rayleigh, Dark King, Haki Unlock. But
let's get into the evidence.
This man has presented us with a magnitude of evidence. All right. He does think Rayleigh wins this fight. All right.
Okay.
You know, his legendary status.
We're
He's
referring to
Haki.
Rayleigh right now. We're not talking about
Rayleigh current time.
Rayleigh right now. Yeah.
The Rayleigh pros. Rayleigh has better Haki over Doflamingo. He is a veteran Haki master. I think we can all agree with that. We all agree with that. Doflamingo has very good Haki, with his Haki being able to pierce Luffy with the golden thread. Fully mastering the basics, observation, armament. You know, he's got the basics down. He can deal with the Gear 4 speed after a while, so his observation's pretty good. He's better at Haki before Luffy goes to Whole Cake Island, so he's pretty good at Haki. But Rayleigh's main thing is Haki, and we can all agree with that. Rayleigh's physical stats, even in old age, are better than Doflamingo's impressive stats. Swimming through the combat, being a swordsman, and his physique, speed to stop Kizaru, and having no devil fruit, making him rely mostly on his physical strength and speed. He has a good hand-to-hand and a better observation, so close combat and hand-to-hand sword play is better than Doflamingo's. Do we all agree with that?
Yeah, he has a sword to begin with, but yeah.
Rayleigh has more battle experience than Doflamingo. Probably has knowledge about the world in general and more combat experience, which means greater battle savviness. We're going to agree with that.
Okay.
Right. Is a swordsman, uses a sword, and uses an amazing armament Haki combined with that sword skill means that he most definitely has Ryo up his sleeve. Most definitely.
He does have Ryo.
Yeah.
He uses
Come on, can we not give people things they haven't done?
But he used it.
Really?
King used it.
He used it in the
Shabondi flashback.
When did he use Ryo on his sword?
Shabondi.
On his sword. Apparently, that's easier to do, according to Hyoguro. Hyoguro says it's easier to do.
Wait. We've only seen like 2 dudes do it. Prime Whitebeard and Prime Roger when they clash.
Zoro, Mihawk. Huh.
Bro, stop, man. Wait a minute.
It's a low level. It's a low level king, but it's there.
The voice of all things is Ryo.
Or the rhythm. The rhythm.
No.
Come on, King. Hyoguro explains it as the same thing.
The ability to
breadth of all things. Whatever the fuck it is.
all things, yeah.
It's like some weird like armor Haki comboed with opposition Haki on some. It's weird shit. I think Oda conflicted up honestly. I think Oda.
But they have.
Oda generally. But I think Oda genuinely just fucked that up because it didn't make any sense. How observation sensing of an inanimate object can now apply to armor Haki. Like what the fuck are you talking about, dog? Come on, like, make sense, Oda, please. But whatever.
Alright, so Rayleigh has Ryo. We could, I guess, he has it on his hands at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Alright. Rayleigh should be stronger than Luffy's Gear 4 since he trained him mostly hand cannons plausible. If not Gear 4 time limit, then Luffy beats Doflamingo. We all go on that.
Are we using the anime for this or what?
No, he's just saying that.
Okay, because in the
Rayleigh's
Rayleigh dodges Gear 4 quite easily.
Which is
Bowman.
Yeah.
Which is
fine.
reasonable.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
He comes out of nowhere and stops Kizaru. All right, he's fast. The man's fast.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's okay.
Context.
Yeah, and he one shots Luffy out of Gear 4, like.
And he refers to people having future sight, so he knows about
future sight.
Yeah. We assume he's got very good observation IQ.
Alright. Luffy would beat Doflamingo if Luffy's didn't have a time limit on Gear 4. I think that's definitely confirmed. Because Doflamingo can't really hurt Luffy in Gear 4. Right? Do you agree with that? If Luffy didn't have a time limit on Gear 4, Luffy would win that fight.
I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe the 16 holy bullets could, but
that's like some ultimate attack of like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, because it's like Luffy did get in. This is the anime, so Rayleigh did hurt Luffy through Gear 4 Bowman. But to be fair, that was the first time he also did that thing too. That was the first time he did that, and that was like 6 months, I think, when they started training. And then afterwards, I think it was like the last 6 months, like Rayleigh wasn't there or something. So. Luffy got better with Gear 4 Bowman, I would say, compared to when he first saw it. But because Rayleigh wasn't there for that period of time. But also for Flamingo, I know Oda alluded to what Luffy suffered against Bellamy was equal to what Doffy suffered with the Gamma
fucking retarded.
I can't buy it for a second in the slightest. Especially when the man was doing patchwork in the middle of the fight. So I'm like, that doesn't add up. So I lean towards his condition being far worse than Luffy's condition during that fight as well.
Does that hinder,
a fresh Doffy, probably has more stamina than we think he does.
But does that hinder his attack potency and his haki? Like,
no, because in One Piece that doesn't necessarily. That's not the case.
That's what I'm saying.
You can be like near death and still like use max power attacks.
Can Doflamingo even hurt Luffy when he's in Bound Man? Like, because we saw what happened when he kicked him with the athlete thread. Nothing happened.
Again, I'm banking on the 16 holy bullets.
Okay, 16 holy bullets. Okay, maybe. All right.
Maybe.
Clout. Of course, we know Rayleigh's Clout, former right-hand man to the Pyro King.
How does Clout even matter?
I don't know. He's put it here. He's put Clout. I'm just reading what he put. Clout. Okay, Clout. All right. Doflamingo advantages. All right, here we go. Extremely versatile and one of the best Devil Fruit users in the series. Awakening may cause Rayleigh problems as there seems to be no stamina limit. We got clones, we got birdcage, we got bullet strings, we got overheat. Range might be Rayleigh's biggest issue. Range and the fact that Doflamingo can fly. We know that Doflamingo stalled out Gear 4 for 30 minutes with his awakening. So he knows how to play the stall game. He knows how to play correctly when it comes to fights.
The arena is not that big.
The arena is decently sized, but I'm pretty sure Rayleigh could close the gap with his speed. So I'm not necessarily sure if range is necessarily an issue for Rayleigh. But Awakening and Doflamingo's trickiness with his clones and just the sheer amount of attacks that could happen with his Awakening might cause Rayleigh some problems, but I don't think it's the death of Rayleigh, right? I think Rayleigh gets past that, right?
Let's assume that he can do, like, full body armor hockey to protect himself. Sure. Like that, maybe.
Sure. I think that's plausible.
He's use his sword to block him and
cut him and
yeah, but like if you have like let's say off-white where that shit's just completely surrounding you, it's like dog, you need more than just your sword, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Doflamingo is very, very versatile in that kind of sense, where he's got multiple areas of attack.
Yeah. Rayleigh also doesn't like speed.
Yeah.
Even if he's old.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, Doflamingo has very good endurance and durability. Solid feats. Took hits from Gear 4 pretty solidly. Took the Gamma Knife from Law. Was able to block Sanji very easily. With his haki.
They called him strong.
I'm just saying no damage. All right, 0 damage. All right, from the what was it?
It was the
rapid fire kick. Yeah, rapid fire flaming kick, whatever that's called.
It was the polar free spectrum, and then he does that. And then
We haven't
'Cause that
really
shit didn't
seen, yeah. Counter to Rayleigh right now, we haven't really seen his durability. We've never seen him take a hit. We don't know how much damage he can take, if he can negate damage. We don't necessarily know those stats with Rayleigh. Maybe his old age reduces that like it did for Whitebeard.
Yeah, like his stamina was kind of waning against Kizaru, but he was probably rusty.
Yeah, he said he was rusty in that fight.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily know if his body can withstand certain attacks without Haki, because we saw with Whitebeard, right, in Marineford. He was getting pierced by
Rayleigh
bullets.
is old, but he's not sick. So there's that as well.
There's that thing with One Piece where it's like age matters until it doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Garb's affected by it. Whitebeard's affected. Big Mom isn't. Kaido seemingly isn't. So like,
I think Kaido's not that old though.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So we all know the law moment with the organ shredding. So can Doflamingo stitch up sword wounds, cuttings? Obviously, yes. Apparently he's a master at medical surgery. If he can stitch up his organs to his inside, knows how to stitch himself up. All right, we can say that.
Sure.
So overall, I would say that it would be an extreme diff for Rayleigh due to Doffy's Devil Fruit mastery, trickery, and Rayleigh's old age making him maybe not have the best stamina and endurance. Rayleigh obviously has the better Haki, the better swordsmanship. So overall, he thinks Rayleigh wins. What do we think about this?
I would say because I agree to an extent, but number one, I don't think that the swordsmanship matters because swordsmanship that's just his means of attacking per se. It's like he can also use his fist if he needs to too.
But the sword attacks are more for like air cuts and range. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the air cuts are for range. Like Doffy just hasn't beat out now and just flat out.
It's range because he can fly, he can do shit. Yeah.
Yeah, fly. I mean, his overheat spanned the entire long bridge, like literally the entire long bridge.
Sure.
After he tried to kill Sanji. Then you have the awakening is very very good as well because again he can attack from range and attack at all different angles and directions and so on. But what's going for Rayleigh is that Rayleigh, I would say the best thing he has going for him is, in this case, the observation Haki.
Yes.
His observation Haki is stupid. And as far as you know, Doffy has it, according to Oda, but he has it to the point where he just fucking has it.
It's not good enough to, like, see Gear 4, though. It's
not good enough, period. So it's like...
It's decent. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Like literally, certain characters just have it for the sake of having it, meaning...
But like, wouldn't you assume
they can read attacks better? That's it. That's it.
Wouldn't you assume you need observation Haki to hit with parasite string?
Not necessarily.
Or you just spam it in the air and it lands?
Yeah, that could be the case. Number one. And number two is that Doffy could maybe because like the strings have the tendency to operate on their own sometimes. Like we saw with the clone. Like he wasn't like controlling that clone full on; it just kind of did its own thing,
But like,
so maybe they can operate on their own as well, like in that fashion.
I think he has better observation than Virgo, because we see what happens with Virgo when Sanji comes in, and we see what happens with Doflamingo when Sanji comes in. So he's got better observation than Virgo.
Yeah. So like he can sense attacks better. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's not to the point where like he's actually very good at.
Yeah, he's okay. He's average.
Would you say he's basic observation Haki, which is just like?
Would you say it's like equal? Would you say it's like equals to Luffy's at that point when he fights him?
I want to say Luffy's actually
it's about the same. It's a bit better than Luffy's at that point. Okay.
Yeah, I would say Luffy's actually a bit better with that Haki. Not because again, only because we never really saw a lot from Doffy in that standpoint.
Yeah.
Whereas Luffy, we did see a lot of.
Doffy doesn't have any special abilities with
special observation.
Right.
He's got the basics.
Right. Got basic.
And then his armor Haki, he can combine with his awakening very well with the 60 holy bullets, but they lost to the King Kong gun. Yeah. So, and then his Conqueror's Haki, I mean, I don't know, because they'll clash in our guards properly as well, but that one really.
Well, Rayleigh's not getting knocked out by Conquerors, so it's not really
right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I think it's pretty definitive. I think it's pretty definitive. Yeah. I think Rayleigh wins this.
I think Rayleigh has the ability to jump around on these strings, getting closer to close the gap on Doflamingo. Like, say if Doflamingo uses like White Bellow or like
he'd jump it, yeah.
Maybe he can like jump on top of him, speed blitz him that way. There's ways to get in on Doflamingo.
Sure. But again, Gear 4 was stalled out by. We know how fast Gear 4 is.
We know how fast Rayleigh is, though.
Yeah, but is that more of a speed blitz thing? Because One Piece does this thing where it's like run speed and speed blitz are two different categories for some reason.
Right.
So like,
right.
Yeah.
It's like a key example. A key example is like Punk Hazard. Punk Hazard, when Luffy's running after Caesar Clown, he's running so fast, he's making like fire tracks on the ground.
Yeah.
But beforehand, the dude pulled a Goku, and the man was like the center of an explosion,
and
then he outran the explosion in base mode.
Or like,
what the fuck just happened, dog?
Yeah, like he dodges a lightning strike in Skypiea.
Yeah. So like,
travel speed in One Piece. Yeah, like there's a travel speed, and then there's an actual like reaction and movement speed, that kind of stuff.
To be clear, I support Rayleigh in winning this fight, but I feel like we're just saying Rayleigh because it's Rayleigh and not really thinking about how the fight would go.
No, well, I mean, we talked about it. We talked about the trickery of Doflamingo.
Yeah. Like Doflamingo doesn't have enough speed and power to actually take Rayleigh out. Is that the conclusion?
Yeah,
no. I'll say that he would, but I'll say that Rayleigh can actually dodge a lot more of his attacks. Then, like, he'll have a hard time hitting Rayleigh.
I feel like Rayleigh does more damage quicker. I think Rayleigh would get more severe damage in.
Really? Even though he has Awakening, Doffy?
Do you think Doffy would pull the Awakening out straight away, or would it be a more hand-to-hand situation first?
Against Mayo?
He's pulling out Awakening straight away. Doflamingo's a smart man.
He's pulling out a lot, I would say.
Doflamingo's a smart man. All right, he understands the world. All right.
Yeah. But again, this is the same guy, Doffy, that had no qualms at all fighting against admirals. Like just how Rayleigh fought against Kizaru, Fujitora, and I mean, I'll get you beforehand. He had no qualms attacking Smoker, and then Fujitora. He tried to kick Fujitora's head off. So they have no problems with admirals at all. So I would say that the biggest thing for Rayleigh,
that like Jordan Lee in the comment section, right? He's saying that like he made the sword point because like that could be big damage that Rayleigh can use straight off the bat.
But Doflamingo has like cutting attacks as well. Yeah.
We don't necessarily know, but like you could imagine Rayleigh can like cut the strings maybe, although Doflamingo just seem uncuttable.
I mean, apparently they're uncuttable. Look at the birdcage.
Fujitora dropped meteorites.
Now here's the thing: are we allowing the plot armor of the birdcage in this fight?
Yes, because it happened.
Yeah, kind of.
So does Doflamingo put himself outside the birdcage and just slowly close it in on Rayleigh? And
I don't think he has time to set up the birdcage. It requires a clone.
Okay, that's interesting. But he does it on a clone. Can he set it up somewhere else while he fights?
If Rayleigh, here's a caveat. If Rayleigh can do like let's say I don't call it Rio because Rio is just hockey essentially. But if they can, if he can do this like the stage 4 hockey where he can infuse the hockey into an object, he can break those strings. I would say he can break those strings for damn sure, and then get the fuck out of the birdcage if he needs to.
Fujitora couldn't break him. I'm just saying.
If he can, even in his old age, do something similar to what Roger and Whitebeard did in their prime with the freaking bubble thing, or like the barrier around the freaking sword, that's like shit. All right, like Doffy, like
I don't think the sword air cuts would keep Doflamingo on his toes. He can't just stand around.
I don't think he could block them. Like,
but he wouldn't just be like a string turret shooting bullets.
No, he would zip around the map, no doubt.
Yeah. He would, because he's swift like that. But
Rayleigh's as well. He's calm, cool, collected character.
Right. Yeah.
Man.
But
can shoot bullets from his hands and break cannonballs.
But I can see Rayleigh getting more shots in general because he has better opposition hockey. The speed, I can't speak for sure, but I can say definitely has better option hockey. So he's able to read his movements a lot better, get those shots in a lot better, and Dovi's going to be forced to use Awakening very quickly, I would argue, and then even still Rayleigh's going to have a easier time getting around the Awakening because he just can read his attacks very, very well.
Just for quickly, people in the chat are confused about your terminology of stages.
Oh, just don't do this.
It's easy because basically stage 1 armor hockey is, or let's say armor hockey like level 1 is just the invisible aura, like that's it, invisible aura, like nothing special about it. Like kind of like what Sanji does, or let's say what we see with Sentomaru, like regular armor hockey.
Yeah, Sanji has hockey. He doesn't have a
staged. At least in the anime, kind of does at times. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Stage 2 would be Armaki hardening, so you actually see the visible black aura and so on.
Yeah.
Stage 3 is when you have a barrier, so that's what we see with Sentomaru, Marigold, and Rayleigh, where it's an actual invisible barrier kind that you can push forward. So Armaki coating that Rayleigh describes is like you can put it around your hands and it just kind of stays there, like around your body. But like to project it outwards is like stage 3. But then, according to what Hyogoro said, Luffy's doing like he's putting it into objects. That's a stage 4, I would say. So it's like you actually can put it infuse inside something, and then you dance from the inside out.
And it depends how you define it, because like people say Rio, they kind of mean both 3 and 4.
Yeah, like, it's kind of in that category where it's like
kind of, kind of.
So winner,
Rayleigh. All right, Doflamingo eliminated. He'll never be in this thing again. Why'd you pick Doflamingo and Rayleigh? Like, that's a bit.
I think Rayleigh's going to take this bracket pretty.
I think Rayleigh takes this bracket
because he shouldn't be in this bracket.
Oh, here we go. No, Rayleigh's in this bracket. He's not Admiral level. All right, relax.
Question corner, huh?
Time for the question corner. We're gonna move over the question corner again. The trenches is gonna play. I'll tell you when it's over. All right, questions. And we're in the question corner. A few questions this week. By a few, I mean like 20, but we'll get through them. All right. Do we have any donos to read?
No, I'll say this, right? Yeah. For the question corner, since we had the debacle last week where key things were not said in the translations and the official was far more important, I will be posting and asking for questions when the official has released.
So you get about 12 hours to ask questions anyway. So yeah. So there you go.
And read the official, ladies and gentlemen, because the scanlations are horrific. Yeah. So do that.
Why is Chet confused? It's a very simple fucking hockey system.
Not everyone knows every headcanon there is in the story.
It's not even headcanon,
bro. Okay, all right.
Different communities have like different terminology. It's kind of weird.
It's fair, but like just think about it for a second. You have invisible aura, check. You have hardening, check. You have a barrier, check. Can it go inside things? Check. That's done. Just 4.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we do have a donor that just came in, Christian.
Okay, there you go.
Dave Flowers II.
Yeah.
Random theory. Orochi promises weapons to Kaido. Lies to Oden. I need money to amass weapons to rebel against Kaido. And then Oden dances to make money for Kaido to rebel against. For Orochi to rebel against Kaido.
I don't know how believable that is, especially when Orochi like told Oden his evil schemes in that throne room. So I don't know if that's necessarily believable. Because if Orochi literally, it was like twirling his mustache, telling Oden how he schemed his way to the top. So maybe, but I doubt Oden would believe that. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's possible, but like, how gullible is Oden?
Yeah, like this man. Okay.
But he's not smart.
He's been on this. He's worldly, King. He's worldly, at least.
I mean, is he though?
He traveled literally the globe. He's worldly.
Yeah, but like, is he like worldly though? I mean,
Oden's setting up this legendary character. All right, you can't make him an absolute mongol.
Only because of his utility, not necessarily because of his skill per se.
Okay, all right. He's not that smart.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, Oda, don't make us disrespect a character you're setting up to.
Like, he's a Chad. Like, I love him. Like, he's a fucking cheating. Like, the man's like, I call him Chad in for a reason, but the man is just not. Like, his IQ is barely breaking 45 and a half.
I don't know. I don't know if there's evidence to say that. Like, where is he dumb? He's just gung ho and he just does shit. But I don't know if he's dumb and he doesn't understand things like Luffy.
He's pretty fucking stupid.
Okay. I mean, he does take the fall for Kinemon because he's like, oh, there's no point. So there's some intellect there.
Like he just gives money away to Orochi. He's like, and then Denjiro's like, yo, don't fucking do that, man. He keeps on doing it. It's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? We have things to take care of. Or when he just, I guess fine. I guess okay, fine. He's breaking 80. Fair enough.
Okay, right. At least he's not Luffy levels, you know.
Yeah.
All right, from AZ fan. From AZ fan, why would Oden trust Orochi to uphold his end of the bargain? Are you guys also a bit annoyed at Oden for keeping the deal a mystery, or Oda? I always get the names are so similar. It always fucking throws me off. Right? Are you annoyed at Oda for keeping the deal a mystery? I'm not that really annoyed. I'm just a bit frustrated. Yeah, well, I think we're all a bit frustrated that he kept it a mystery. I don't again. Why would Oden trust Orochi? That needs to be explained at some point. Even if it's something stupid, it needs to be explained. Like, we can't just be like, he trusts him because he trusts him. You know, explain it. All right, that's what we want. All right. From Fibo Pontent, remember when Wano was going to be Zoro's arc, and he meets his fellow Greenhead clan. That was some people's series. We never bought that. We never said, like, the people who said Wano's Zoro's arc were always delusional. I don't.
Zoro fanboys.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I'm a Zoro fanboy, and I was hoping it was, but I mean,
we're gonna find Kaido. You know, we're not running away from Big Mom. We're finding Kaido.
No, Kaido's
And
too.
he was also never established to be Zoro's arc.
I think Kaido's too much, but I mean, it's gonna be a team fight. I'd hope anyway. After Law dies, that'd be awesome.
I remember what I was gonna tell you on your stream, King.
What's that?
Drutz has a decent idea where, like, Zoro uses Enma on, like, Kaido's scar and reopens the wound, and that's like the big damage that Zoro does. What do you think about that?
I mean, I guess. I mean, because again, it depends on the context. So, I would just like Kaido to take virtually no fucking damage until Law does what I think he should do.
Dude, if that's not immortal,
like if that's but like if that's like pure headcanon, then fine, is what is there.
Yeah.
It's just that to me, it doesn't make any sense how like other people couldn't damage Kaido. He was at the mercy of Yonko and Marines that we know, at least admirals have. But was he? You know, this next level hockey, and yet you're telling me that none of these guys could damage Kaido, but Luffy now can? What the fuck is happening? That makes no sense.
I've said this to you 1,000 times. They couldn't kill him.
There might be healing. There might be a massive healing factor we don't know about. Like.
Okay. Yeah. But like that's why. Okay, like. Kaido's taking the wounds anyway. I mean, he takes the damage anyway. He's not like Big Mom where things go dink. Like when Luffy's attacking him with the Kong gun and so on, the things are sinking in. Like his fists are sinking into his flesh. Sure. But it's like just zero damage. But what I'm saying is that, so like that's what I'm saying. It's like there has to. I would assume that there's some kind of immortality factor at play. At least that's my assumption.
I don't necessarily know that.
If there's not, and I'm wrong and fine. But you have to then wonder, what the fuck were these admirals or
he's an emperor,
doing? Like, were they having fucking tea and crumpets? Like,
the thing is, like, was he ever transported to HQ, or did he always escape on the prison boats?
That's fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
That's the thing.
You have Yonko Kaido in your midst. Let's put on some random, like,
well, they have to transport him.
Shit?
They have to transport him.
The man wants to die.
And he can't.
He's willing to wait. What?
Okay.
That's dumb.
Well, we'll find out.
Come on, you know it's stupid.
We'll find out what happens, all right? We'll find out.
I need to be on this bullshit because I'm tired. That should be more.
Well, King, it could have happened 20 years ago. Like, the old admirals didn't have it or something. So
you're telling me that 20 years ago, the nameless fuckers that weren't even admiral back. So wait, no, that was Garp and Sengoku.
Sure.
Yeah, but like.
So Garp and Sengoku Prime captured Kaido, did virtually
King,
nothing.
There's a lot of things like.
But Luffy, Eric, that's worse. That's worse.
But King, look what they did with Ace. They put random henchmen to kill Ace. They didn't fucking get an emperor to hit his head off. It was random fucking goons. Like.
No, wait, because he was an Impo down, being watched by Magellan. The man was like exhausted. Yeah, and he had Kairos, and he had a Kairoseki on him.
What about the Pirate King?
You know, actually, hold on. This even validates my point even further. They probably had Kairoseki on Kaido just in case of, because he's probably the user. Let's say, and they still couldn't kill him.
We all know the world government's incompetent.
That's true.
No, I don't hear that.
The world government is incompetent. All right, moving on. That's what
There's only one man that's stronger than Kaido, and that's Shanks.
That's right.
Okay, one man.
And he stopped him in Marine Corps.
You cannot tell me that the admirals are gonna literally dick around with their cocks out and not do shit against a captured Kaido. That makes no sense.
That's what we've been told, all right? That's what we've been told, King. I don't know.
No.
Akainu just
No.
disappeared when Whitebeard has a heart attack.
Akainu should have done a point blank Ryusei Kazan.
Nothing.
That's what he fucking should have done. Nothing.
Yeah, but Akainu should have killed Whitebeard when he had a heart attack, but he just disappeared.
Because he had
business to attend to, right? He had to fill in some paperwork, right? He had to fill in some urgent paperwork.
Oh, wait, no. He was in the back, make sure that some of the rings didn't leave, because, they were trying to escape.
Yeah, all right. Well, next question.
Yeah.
Next question from Elijah. Who is your number one waifu in One Piece? The one waifu, fellas.
What now?
Who is your number one waifu in One Piece?
Robin.
Robin?
Easy clap. Yeah, easy clap.
Right.
Easy clap.
I'll go Boa because of Stampede.
Who?
What?
Boa
because of Stampede, because of that kick.
That's
Are
fine.
you the one
Because of the
fucking
kick.
kick, dude?
I don't really do waifus in anime, so
waifus?
I don't really care.
Hop on board, bro.
Give me Galette. I don't know.
Gullet, there you go.
Okay. Ooh, Galette.
Aesthetic, right? That's fucking it. From Drix 6. Is it possible that Hiyori is actually Toki and thus will drop tons of info on the Straw Hats because I hope she is more than just a baby maker for the Void Century. Also, it is a common knowledge that Kaido ruled over Wano, so why the hell did Whitebeard, Rayleigh, and the others do nothing to help him?
Yeah, we talked about this many times.
Yeah, it's a big question that needs to be answered. Closed off country is, I guess, the answer, but give us an actual answer.
Well, at least the Roger Pirates make a little bit of sense, where he told them not to interfere. So that's I guess
that's the logic, but yeah.
But like Whitebeard not turning up.
Also, King, have you heard this theory that's floating around that
Talk to me.
that since Toki has a scar on her leg, and that we haven't seen Hiyori's leg, therefore Toki is Hiyori because that will be revealed. How dumb is that theory?
That's dumb as fuck because here's the thing. Again,
it makes sense that.
Oh wait, hold on. So then, whose body is in the fucking fire when they were, investigating Toki?
Someone.
In the fire. Number one, number two. Some woman's okay. Fine. That's all right. Then number two. Where's Hiyori? Like, where's the actual Hiyori?
Hiyori is the witching owl boy. I don't fucking know.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
number
exactly.
Number three
is,
and then this is where I think things kind of sketchy. All right.
Yeah.
So she talked about how there's no other man in her life and so on.
Sorry,
why is she getting so tight with Zoro right now? Why is she getting so tight with Zoro?
And
There's
Kurashiro.
clarification in the chat. Toki is not Hiyori. Toki is Kuromasaki, and they're two different characters. Okay.
Okay, see that one. Okay, yeah, fine. That one's possible.
Okay, I guess maybe, but they look exactly the same. I don't know.
Well, no, yeah, because the reason why is because there was such a huge shift in her character. It's like.
But they don't like Toki and Hiyori don't look the same at all. They're completely different.
Sure,
Toki and
times.
Hiyori don't look the same.
No.
Oh yeah. I think so. I mean, does she have like the what we call like the droopy eye thing?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
She doesn't
have like the slanted eyes.
Let me see this. Actually, I'm not. I need to check. I'm not too
And like the face is a little bit different in proportion wise, but yeah.
I think Kuromasaki is Hiyori. I mean, it's basically.
Why are people always trying to do this?
Because of pudding, all right. Pudding started it all right.
Okay.
No. Nami started it all. Keep it real, dog.
I mean, pudding literally has a split personality, so.
Yeah, dude, from the very conception of One Piece, Oda's always been doing this with a lot of characters. Vivi, Nami, Robin,
Vivi was like one
Viola.
chapter.
No, all the there have been so many female characters in One Piece that just turned good because of X, Y, and Z reason. Very few stay evil or stay bad, like Caulifla, I guess, from CP9. Okay, like randoms like those. But ones that actually have some importance to the arc or to the story, it's like okay, they're gonna turn good at some point. Okay. Like even Rebecca tried to attack Luffy and then got pinned down when he was eating. Okay, dog. Like it happens all the fucking time. So it's like we're hoping that there is still the thought. There's still the bitch Kuromasaki out there somewhere, just being an absolute fucking hoe.
Shoutouts for that. Shoutouts for the anime for making that way too sexual. All right. That's Rebecca Luffy moment. All right.
Oh, of course.
Bro, that shit was fucking crazy, bro.
Shoutouts to the anime for doing
shiny.
that.
So much shine on it.
Yeah, bro.
Too
Like,
much.
apparently, there's actual guy for that. Like, there's actual dude.
Shiny guy.
That specifically does like the shiny, skinny. Like the shining skin, like the big old Like, whoa, like he's a specialist at it. Like that's what he's paid to do. Just make him
Jesus.
big,
Shout
make
out to
him
that.
shiny.
All right. Next question from Bad Max. How about the arrow in Toki's leg? Could it be poisoned? Why would Oda show us the scar? Maybe it is why Oden makes a fool out of himself. Maybe Orochi has the cure and is holding it against him. Maybe? I don't know about that. Not necessarily.
It's solid.
Yeah, but
Well,
why
what
didn't
already-
why
wait,
like
actually, hold on, wait? How many years from the?
5.
like 7? It's like 7 since
No,
you got hit
dude.
by the arrow. Yeah, so
Wait, so maybe
poison.
so maybe it's like a poison where it's like
a
you
slow
need antidotes.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like you need it's a slow one. That you need
Yeah.
antidotes. Let's say every month or so to make sure that it's subdued.
Or every week or something because
Again, he
dances
doesn't
a
ask
week.
for the antidote. He asks for
Boats.
boats.
Yeah. So
True.
I don't know. It's a theory.
Oh,
Right?
what is this thing, man? We need to find that shit out ASAP, bro. I'm tired. Bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, just-
100%.
Yeah, come on, just tell us, Oda. Fuck.
If you know, imagine if it's like 2 months later and it's out of Shinobu's mouth. And it's like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
right.
That'd be terrible. That'd be
From Captain Said, sorry for the unrelated question. If you've never read Bleach and then skip this question, well, luckily we have King of Lightning here to tell us about Bleach questions. Right. Out of the big 3, Bleach was always considered to have the best art. However, people usually act like art is only character design, where it's more than just that. Since you guys are artists, I want to hear your opinions on each of the big 3's art and which you enjoy most. Stuff like backgrounds, panel layout, and not just character design. Personally, I enjoy Bleach arts that much because of the lack of backgrounds, usually just a white background. So he's saying that he doesn't like the backgrounds. But wasn't that Kubo's thing? Like, Kubo's... Like, here's the thing about the big 3, right? Naruto started off looking fantastic, and then it went to shit in the war. Bleach, you could say the same thing. Started off really good art.
The beginning of Bleach, like if you look at how Kubo did the arc at Bleach beginning, he actually took the time to draw the environment and draw the sky and that kind of stuff. Whereas later on, he had it's crazy. If you look at Kubo when he first started Bleach, how he looked, and look at Kubo after Bleach over,
goddamn man.
The man looks like he went through at least 3 tours in Iraq. He looks horrid.
Hey man, don't have a series. Don't have a series and also be on Twitter. He's been on Twitter, all right. He's been on Twitter.
Yeah. Like the reason why Bleach ended so poorly was because of his health.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
For the most part, that plus him having problem with editors and so on.
Yeah.
And then Oda's style, I think actually did the characters very.
I think Oda
at the beginning.
Oda's being
consistent.
Were
good.
Oda's being consistent with the art, like.
Yeah, but now because he's putting so much in one panel, it's like the details aren't as sharp.
The pages are getting a little bit too much.
Cluttered,
right.
Yeah. It's getting
look at this
so
Look at this chapter with the scabbards and shit. That was hype as shit.
True.
But I wouldn't say Oda's art has gotten worse as the start. I think it's gotten better.
No, because in its own sort of ways.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like the backgrounds are like look at the backgrounds in Wano Country. They've been beautiful, or like in Hokigawa when you look at the environment, it's like wow.
But Oda doesn't do the backgrounds,
so but like the details, like the face, like only in like very important moments, like the Roger laughing scene, like only in that stuff we'll take the time to like just
big panels,
drop the details, big panels, like boom.
Yeah.
But the backgrounds what he focuses on more, and those details.
Like this week, like Kaido's arms like weirdly skinny.
Yeah, bro, Kaido. This man is left-handed and his right arm is small, bro. His right arm is pathetic, man.
I mean, he was fighting. He was fighting Moria at the same time. He was fighting Moria at that time, so he couldn't be too strong.
We got a dono from Cameron. He asks us if we've been reading Solo Leveling.
No. King has.
Did you give it a shot?
That? You finished Solo Leveling, King?
I'm caught up. Ready to go.
Yeah, is it finished or is it? I've heard it's finished. Is it finished? No, it's still going. Or is
no,
that?
No.
Shield Hero's finished or some shit.
No. It's going to finish, I think, in around 200 some odd chapters. Or no, yeah, chapter 200 something. Because I think that the light novel is done already.
Yeah,
I think so. I'm not too sure.
I've heard mixed things about it. Some people say it's just there for hype. Some people say it's not that good. I've heard mixed things. I know King loves it, but
I love it because the fights are great, the artwork is great, and the characters are beasts as all hell. It's not like the most complex story, it's really not, but it's dope as all hell.
But it's a transport to another world story, video game stuff, isn't it?
No. It's well, video game stuff kind of where it's like dungeons that are span across like the entire world, and then people get powers, magical powers, and randomly,
Are there like
the
items
story I
and
think
things
it
like
has,
that?
yeah, because it's more so of like it's a game. Okay, it's a game based thing for the main character, but not for any other character.
What does that mean?
Read it.
Okay, all right, I'll find out. Go read it and find out.
I guess he invaded the video game and all the other characters are video game characters.
Oh, no.
No, apparently it's not that. All right, okay.
All right, read solo leveling.
Next question from Eric Romo. How upset or sour is the OP community after this chapter? I would say it's about 50-50. You've got the defense squad and you've got the salty people. You know, the One Piece community.
I feel like reviewers are always like our little community that we have between reviewers is like pretty much on the same page. It just depends on the lens in which you look at it. Like we all agree that it needs to be explained as fast as possible, but like some
people say it doesn't. Some people say it's fine.
Yeah, like the wider community is probably split, but yeah.
I saw you were talking or you were coming at Greg on Twitter. Yeah, because you weren't having Greg's statements on how.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll explain it to you.
Yeah,
We've got a question about it, so we'll get to that when we get to that. All right? There's a question in this thing about it. All right. A listener has put a question about this Greg beef. You can talk about it when we get to that. All right.
Beef.
All right. Next question is from Eric Romo. Have you two enjoyed the flashback so far? Because I have, and I feel that we need to put our trust into Oda once more. There's certain aspects that are great, and certain aspects that could be better.
Oda, we trust Oda, we love this.
Look, we only get mad because we love the series, alright? That's what people have to understand. You get
the problem
mad,
is that a lot of folks, I think, are not looking at Wano as it really stands.
Yeah, they're looking.
Wano is not as good as it should be. That is the plain and simple fact.
King, here's the thing, right?
Wano is not as good as it should be.
Here's what people do: they read the chapter, they grab the plot points, and that's all they care about. This happened. This happened. This happened. This happened. They don't look at how it happened. They don't look at maybe this could have happened.
The structure, the.
They just go plot point
from the very beginning, and folks thought I was going nuts, but I was proven to be right, of course, because I'm a wizard.
Okay.
From the very beginning,
are you a Grand Wizard or just a wizard?
Grand Wizard. I'm up there. Yeah. Right. But I have no hat. I have a crown somewhere. I just can't fucking find it. It's not important.
Sure.
Listen.
You do wear a white hood a lot.
From the very beginning, I said that this arc was fast. From the very time we enter Wano Country and we go on the carpet, and boom, I'm like, yo, this is a really fast chapter.
Even in Act 1?
And from then I knew that the pacing was going to be relatively fast. And I understood because there were a lot of plot points to cover. Because Wano Country is an arc that is so rich in character and in lore and in environment that I can understand why he wanted to have a few things here or there. But in the process of getting to like the main fights and so on, he's neglected so many things that could have or should have happened.
Would you say that?
I would argue.
People had a really negative opinion about the pace of Act 1 as it was too slow. Do you feel that?
No, not even close. Act 1 I think wasn't slow enough.
Act 2 was pretty good.
Act 2 is the same thing. Yeah, Act 1's actually it's not bad, but for me, getting to Wano was relatively quick. And then when we separate immediately, we're like, where's Luffy? Where's the crew? That was kind of fucking weird. And then how we just have Zoro randomly just fucking dip. It's like, oh, where am I?
By the way,
every chapter was in a different location.
Yeah, dude, in the anime, they add some random sword-bearing tiger.
Yeah.
It's some random white tiger with a fucking sword that attracts Zoro's attention. It's like, oh my god, you're a powerful foe. And then literally like 5 minutes later, she just don't, and then he's dead. It's like this is retarded. It doesn't make any. Excuse my language. Fuck that. Listen, the point here. The point here is that the Wano Country arc. A lot of folks just really, really, really want the fights because I would say that a lot of folks kind of forget the core. It happens all the time. folks forget what makes One Piece, right? And then they come because they're fans of Marineford War and East Lobby, where things are very streamlined, just fight. Oh my god, intense moments. And so the problem is that when you look at all those arcs and how they drag out and they do the character stuff, Dressrosa had a problem because of the freaking dwarves and Heroes and Rebecca. That was really it. And then towards the end, the pacing was kind of shit. But before all that, it was Dressrosa was fucking damn good. It was like shit.
Let's look at like something like Marineford, for example. That arc is great because of the fights and all the hype stuff that happens, but it's legendary because of the emotional connection we have to Ace and Luffy's plight and and Garp and his struggle. So you need both. You need that emotional development and weight, and you also need the hype shit.
Right.
And this is why the emotional stuff isn't working in Wano.
And this is why when I told Cats that in my mind, and I think this is very important. I forgot his name, but the past editor of Oda of One Piece, he confirmed that he was surprised at the pace of the Wano Country arc. He alluded to how Oda in 5 years would no way finish One Piece. But then he did a double take and said, actually, considering the current pace of the Wano arc, he probably will. Meaning that Wano arc. Well, I forgot his name. Like honestly, but he's an old editor for One Piece for Oda. I think he was like his longest editor. Been on for for years.
We were throwing around this idea yesterday or 2 days ago on Drew's stream that like, is it because we know he got a few new editors recently? Is it like the reflection of the younger editors wanting that quick pace to get to the hype stuff because they know the current climate of media at the moment? And like, you see how like Star Wars is fucking up, you see how like Game of Thrones is fucking up. Is that like the kind of like reflection of like the mass market just wants hype shit, and is that what they're going for?
But the problem is that One Piece is like already the best-selling comic ever, right? Or some shit like that. Yeah. Like it's up there, and Oda has no reason. Like there shouldn't be any reason to like rush or work those things. Like this is why. This is why I alluded to the fact that the flashback should have been done in parts because it made the most sense from a pacing standpoint. Because the characters themselves matter tremendously. And so there are certain moments that don't necessarily make sense. Like I know Dritch talked about before where like there's a moment where they literally forget about Toko's existence, how they go to the bathhouse, they forget about Toko entirely, and then she's coming into the store just randomly. And then instead of Nami wanting to protect her, it's like Robin now. So it's like the whole mother aspect that we saw in Punk Hazard is not returned to the surface when it comes to Nami. Yeah. So it's things like that where it's like when you slow down the pacing of the story and then you take the time and the details like Oda normally would. And yeah, he's getting older, he's not getting younger, fair enough. But in all honesty, considering how Wano was probably the arc that was going to segue into the final act of the story, Wano should have been like a 300 chapters arc saga. Not even shitting you. That's how slow it should have been. Not even.
Yeah. Well, we know that Oda relies on his editors to get kind of like the outside world take on like media and culture. So maybe that has a part about it.
Yeah, well, we can't really know that. So let's
we don't know. Anyway, next question.
Next question. From Sandy Lollipop. What is the relationship between Kaido and Orochi? It is really just a business deal? Did the old hag introduce them? Or does Kaido already have some relationship with Wano? Again, we need to find out that information. Very important information. We were supposed to find out this flashback. Maybe we'll find out in current day. I don't know. Maybe next week. Yeah, it's very important to find out why Kaido cares about Wano at all. Mm-hmm. If it's just a business deal, it's kind of lame, you know? I don't know. Like, if it's just business, right? Find someone else who'll make you weapons. Why does it have to be Wano, you know?
No, chat, I'm not trolling. Like 300 chapters. I'm legit when I said that. Like 250 minimum, because there's too many characters to flesh out, and there's more characters coming in supposedly. Yeah, well. So like, it's gonna be like people believe that Shanks and Sabo and Blackbeard, like everyone's hopping in.
Well, everyone's here. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So right now the prima characters are like Kid, Killer, Luffy, Zoro.
Oh, what happened to Kid, by the way?
It's like, what the fuck is Kid?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like moments like that, where the kid leaves the prison.
I mean, Kid's been quiet for 5 days.
Like, kid just left the fucking prison, and then all of a sudden he's back again with Killer. What?
And then he's quiet for 5 days when he swears revenge against Orochi.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
Alright, so
there you go.
Next question from Michael. Why does Wano have so many devil fruit users? It's just a pre-time skip. Everyone's got devil fruits. It doesn't really matter. Like, it's just like a meta point, I guess. Like, it's spawned there.
They're outside individuals. They might have gone on their journeys when they were banished from the country, whatever. Okay. So,
next question from Jock Senpai. Pluton could be on the moons. Kind of like the Death Star, and it'll just shoot a massive laser beam. That's how it's able to shoot islands. Just a little theory. I'll put it out there. What are your thoughts on it? Is Pluton a moon? Is it on the moon? What do you think about that?
Is it a massive death weapon? Maybe.
Well, it is, but is it on the moon?
Yeah.
Bro, honestly, there should be a space arc, but there's not. And so probably not.
You don't know. There could be.
I mean, Albeth could lead to the space arc.
Like fucking 5 chapters in space.
Well, I think Albeth could lead to the space arc because of the tree. Would go up into space. The Anim tree is so fucking big that it could go lead into space. That's how we get into space. And the giant kingdom is in space. I don't fucking know. Like it could be combined like that. Like Albeth and climbing the tree goes into space, and then I don't know
where the gods
where the gods are, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like, I don't know, just a theory out there.
How they breathe, there's a lot of questions.
Shabondi fucking bubbles on the top. Who cares? All right. Apparently, now
I would say okay. I mean, look, bro. Like I would really lean towards okay. Pluton is probably somewhere on the planet. It's probably in Alabasta, like what I thought it was. I think that Robin was spot on. And Alabasta is very, very big, so it's somewhere in those sand dunes. It's somewhere there.
Do you think the theory of Blackbeard going to Alabasta to steal Pluton is plausible?
I think it is, because Vivi's evolved somehow.
Because Vivi and the fact that there is a crisis in Alabasta right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But the question is, how would Blackbeard know?
He's got connections.
Better than Big Mom?
He's in cahoots with the
I mean, Lafitte just flew up to Mary Jo and said hello, like remember that? Like, remember Lafitte just flew up to Mary Jo?
He did, bro.
And he's like, hey,
and also he knows hypnotism too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so that guy is a massive spy. Who knows? Maybe he's CP0. Maybe he's CP0. Who knows?
Gorosei told him it was there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, who knows? All right.
They did it, fucking idiots.
Next question. What did Kaido and Orochi say to Oden? Yeah, we all want to know. All right, that's
That's like the biggest question.
That's the biggest question, right?
Yeah.
All right. From Lord Zarkon. G'day. How strong is the Barabara fruit? Could it block a Yonko or Force Commander attack? Or do we need to rescale Bato? Well, we don't need to rescale Bato, but the shield is apparently unbreakable. Enma could not cut it. So, there we go. Unbreakable. Higher defense than Kaido, right?
No. Look, bro. Here's the problem, bro.
What's the problem?
Like, I think Eric and I think both of you kind of say this whole notion of we have to assume that stupidly powerful people, broken powers don't necessarily apply to.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Law's powers don't necessarily work on Kaido because Kaido's just fucking stupid.
And Doflamingo and shit like
that. If that applies to Law, and Practice String. So if that applies to Law, that should apply to Bartolomeo too. It's like there should be a limit.
I mean, it copped the King Punch, which did nothing to it. Enma hit it did nothing to it. I mean, what has to hit it to break it? Just
You don't think that a Thunder Bagua can't just?
Well, we haven't seen it. We've seen pretty strong attacks do nothing to it. So, actually,
the King Punch is mad dope. The King Punch is mad dope. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's fucking fierce. But I mean, shit. In the anime, that thing
it would make the Yonko step back a bit.
Yeah, but now we actually see them. Well, no. According to the random dude, it would actually knock out. Yeah, the Dagama said that it would actually knock out a Yonko.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it real now. Like, come on, now. We've seen the top now.
According to the anime, Kaido just takes a King Kong with no damage. According to the anime,
right?
So.
Which I believe that honestly, considering because again, really.
Come on,
I mean,
King. No damage.
wait
on
a minute.
King
This
Kong?
man
Come
lived
on.
into like a freaking Kong organ for like 5
Bro,
minutes and Kaido
bro,
just got upside and speed blitzed him.
did you
What?
see? Have you seen a King Kong and what it did to Dressrosa?
In theory,
Bro, it folded the city.
okay, yes, in theory, well, it's actually way better than that, honestly, because he
Yeah,
broke through the
it didn't
strings
even.
and
Yeah,
also he dove into the
it didn't even touch the ground. It was Doffy hitting the ground.
In theory, Kaido should be able to take like 3 King Kong guns and it'd be fine.
Okay.
But
All
it
right.
did nothing. Like literally nothing.
All right.
Yeah, because that's how Kaido just works. Kaido just he's too powerful.
Tanks
He's
it.
too
Tanks that
devastating.
shit. All right.
King Kong, yeah, whatever.
Again, Big Mom has been a phenomenal force in nature. Could block Luffy's Kong gun with ease. With ease.
Elbow.
Called it like nothing. Like bullshit.
Yeah.
So you have to wonder if she's calling Kaido a thing. It's like, well, you mean, yeah, Kaido.
All right.
You know,
now,
a thing.
next question is from Dart. Thoughts on Greg's tweet and philosophy about One Piece? There you go, Eric. The floor is yours.
All right. So a little bit of background on this tweet that King saw.
There's a story here. Huh?
All right. So me and Morge engaged Greg on the topic of Oden and the retainers a day before the tweet went out. We were discussing about how we're not really feeling the emotional connection, the emotional weight between the characters, all that stuff that we talk about today, basically.
Yeah.
Greg started hitting us back with this weird, like, condescending tone that we don't know the panels and the evidence, and that it's in the story, therefore it's explained and good. So all that kind of weird stuff. And then he was like getting to this thing with Morge, where Morge would say something and Greg would do that thing where it's like, oh, you said this, but it's not what like Morge said. It was like his version of what Morge said, which is like a weird spin on what happened.
Yeah.
He was just being like really annoying. And then a day goes by and he makes that post like clearly aimed at us. Right. So I wasn't gonna have it.
All right.
And I let him know. That's what the beef is.
All right.
Like,
there you go.
So he made a post talking about, I think it was, like the people in Japan don't complain about this kind of stuff, and then I think I saw someone also respond saying, well, like I forgot what it was exactly, but like it had to do with like, yeah, like it had to do with like someone like the perception of the arc right now is people like they want Oda to hurry up and get to the fights, but take the time to.
But that's what the opposite of what we say.
Something like that.
Someone asked about Japan, and he said, "Everyone I talk to can't wait to see what happens next. Many people say or seem to be foreign readers creating a self-predicting aura of sourness based on unfulfilled personal predictions, theories, and expectations." That's what really got me annoyed, because it's like, and he's like, yeah, they don't let One Piece run its course, and I'm like, that's not what we were saying to you. We're not sour because of our own predictions and theories that are incorrect. Like, it's like completely dismissing our point of view with like, yeah, he's basically saying like these fucking idiots with their own like headcanon like are just getting mad because their headcanon's wrong. That's basically what he's saying. So
is he not seeing the structural problems?
Well, King, he works. King. Let me just say this one thing. He works for Shueisha. He can't say One Piece is bad. All right, that's what it boils down to. Come on.
We brought up all the structural issues,
sense.
and he was, you know how we were like, oh, the connection isn't there, and then he goes, oh, the god, but the pig god scene's there, and we're like, all right, it's there, but it's not enough, you know. That's basically what he was doing. So there you go.
There it is. There's the beef explained.
It was just really annoying and frustrating, and I wasn't gonna have him just say stupid shit clearly aimed at us and like the fan base that actually like thinks about the story as much as him and like respects Oda's work as well. It's not like a fucking disrespectful thing as well. But there you go.
Yeah, it's very obvious that, you know, stories have their faults, and mangaka at some point, I mean, like you can kind of tell that Oda's kind of tapering off, and his sights are set elsewhere. Well, not like necessarily elsewhere, but he wants to get certain things done, and he's not necessarily clear on how to get to those points. But I mean, like, look, I think part of the reason this is kind of easy to kind of figure out is like you kind of look at the sales, you can say, and like the sales are indicative of if the story's actually doing good or bad, you can say. And the sales this year weren't that great. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, now I understand that it didn't come out at like the last point of the year, like there was one volume still coming out, whatever. I get it, but at the end of the day, One Piece is a story that we expect a lot from, and there were certain standards that we had because that's what Oda had established. And I can say for a lot of this arc, Oda has been focusing on things. Okay, he's been focusing on elements that don't necessarily matter the most. Number one, the number two, his structure has obviously been poor. It hasn't been the greatest.
Yeah.
There are things that don't make sense. We have to hope and assume, and it's not necessarily the journey that Oda and his editors hyped up themselves. All right, and that's the key thing here. Oda and his editors hyped the fuck out of Wano Country.
I mean, even without those expectations,
like it was gonna be the real deal. And listen, it could have a phenomenal fight. It could have like holy shit fights, but as a totality, when we're in Act 3 right now, this was like what like so
we're
like
60
what like
chapters
we're like
deep.
yeah 6 chapters deep, halfway probably through. So let's say there's another 60 some odd chapters remaining. Dog, half of this arc is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, at best. And just excluding the headcanon elements of it, it's like the pacing and the structure is just, it's not conducive to what we're used to with One Piece. Just look at Dressrosa and look at Goddamn Wano. It's like, wait a minute now, dog. This is a whole different ballgame, especially when you look at the amount of characters and plot points involved in Wano.
Yeah. Anyway.
Come on, there's no contest.
Yeah.
There you go.
Next question from Shadow Badger. Who has the better hair, Oden or Diavolo?
What the fuck?
Better hair? Oden?
Diavolo?
Yeah.
Stop.
Well, Diavolo's hair's trash, dude.
Stop. The man is perfect. He's a god.
He is a god, alright. But
Yes.
I hated his
you
reveal,
can't
man.
beat
His fight sucks so bad.
his design.
Yeah,
okay.
I hate his design.
It's okay.
Okay, yeah.
It's no
Say,
deal.
like,
but you can't.
Have
You
you
can't.
seen Dio?
Aussie flights win, bro. I'm coming
Yeah.
right.
Bro, have you seen
ASAP.
Dio?
Bro, yeah, I've seen Dio, but
Well, the
Diavolo?
idea
Come on,
was
bro.
like Diavolo was supposed to be a punk, so like he designed him as a punk, like a
I
punk
know,
rocker.
but it's a bit much.
But like, yeah, again, what are you gonna do against Requiem? Nothing, all right. So what are you gonna
Wait,
do?
King, do you like how broken Requiem was?
Yeah. I mean,
King, I told Eric for 2 months, you are not ready for this brokenness.
you're not.
And
Yeah,
he's like, nah, it's probably not that broken. And then he's like, what the fuck is this?
basically, as long as you cannot manipulate reality, like if you cannot manipulate reality, or if you're not working in like another dimension,
Yeah.
you're fucked. Essentially, like the man is basically
He manipulates
a
truth.
god.
Yeah.
Like I don't think, as far as I can tell, there's no character in JoJo's that can actually beat Gold Experience Requiem. Like that thing is stupid.
Not yet.
I mean, yeah, fine, fair enough. But I mean, shit, dog. Like we're talking about, like you can never reach the truth
There are-
ever, like ever.
There are,
And I know. Is there one guy that can maybe do it? But I don't know.
There are maybe 2 characters that are canon that can do it. Maybe. They can beat him. Maybe 2
Okay,
characters.
next question.
Yeah, next question.
Too much.
From Frizik? Yeah, Frizik. What do you guys think about the poison arrows that turned people blind? Is that Queen's doing? What if Fujitora lied about his blindness and is one of the victims of these arrows? Why'd you have to throw that in?
Fujitora, you think that we got a whole flashback, and you're saying that Fujitora
Is a
somehow
victim,
still?
yeah.
Come on, bro. People, if
Uh,
Fujitora's not in Wano, it's over. In fact, fuck Fujitora. Where the hell's Mihawk? Like,
Yeah,
Mihawk
is
is not
Mihawk
mentioned
on his
anywhere
way?
at all.
He's in his way.
Nothing, bro. I mean, I would hope so. Maybe,
Alright,
maybe
so...
Mihawk. Maybe it was Mihawk who actually grabbed Enma and cut Kaido.
Oh, shit. That would be tough as fuck. Alright. Yeah, it's probably Queen's doing. I've seen some theories about it playing a role in Sanji's fight. Because he might go blind and then have to use ultimate observation haki. And then Chopper cures him later. I've seen theories, but what do you reckon about that king? You reckon that'd be cool for Sanji?
I'm not too sure because here's the thing. Like, I think that there's something that I actually really want Oda to do, and then maybe he'll bring it back at some point. But
Yeah.
remember that whole thing about Shanks being able to stop time, like way back when?
In the video game.
Yeah, in the video game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you actually play the game, what he's doing is that he's actually using his observations so much and so powerful that time is kind of like being perceived slower.
Yeah. But
I want that for Sanji.
Isn't that? I guess that's observation haki, right? Like.
No, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Being able to perceive time slower.
Yeah.
Because ideally, if he's able to, like, let's say, like Kizaru, right? I don't think that, like, let's say that that's like his end all fight or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Headcanon, of course. Then.
I mean, the One Piece 15th anniversary anime confirmed it, all right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, maybe there's some validity to it, and then. Sanji to proceed that speed of light, and then some, then he'd have to be able to like his haki would have to be so powerful and deep to where either he sees it like Katakuri can, or he's perceiving everything slower to like a much slower degree. So we got Tango with Kizaru and beat him.
But I think Future Sight solves that problem anyway because you're seeing the future, so therefore.
Well, I'm not talking about future sight, but more so because, again, it's like, okay, like hockey has always a degree of future sight, but it just depends on the caliber of person, right? Because a lot of time it's just for attacks. I want Sanji to like perceive things like, if you read Magi, it's like Alibaba.
Okay.
All right, Alibaba, and like he always has like this whenever he's like in a near death situation, he perceives time much slower. Like it comes to a fucking crawl. That would be some crazy ass shit, because that's what Shanks kind of does in the video game.
But 3.
If not, then yeah, like he got some future kind of bullshit.
Right.
Because there's always been like a diversity, and I kind of want to find out like is Zoro's Astra actually haki and stuff like that. And Oda hasn't touched on that yet. We're still we're 969 chapters deep, Doug.
All right.
So things like that.
Yeah. Well, my theory is that I think Queen's going to be a tag team between Sanji and Chopper just because of the plague shit. And Chopper's gonna neutralize that aspect, and then Sanji does the fighting. I think that's...
So then, do you see Zoro against King being a tag team soon or not?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think these people are getting soloed. It's too soon for the Zoro and Sanji.
Because if he didn't, because the problem is that how much of a problem would Enma be, or how strong was Zoro before? Or how strong was Zoro before?
Yeah, exactly.
If he beats King 1-on-1.
Well, what I was saying
is, how weak is King?
Enma reminds me of. It's like if Zoro had Gear 4. That's what Enma reminds me of. He pulls it out. It uses a lot of haki. It's kind of like Zoro's Gear 4, right? Would you say that? So that just puts him at Luffy with Gear 4. Like.
I mean, for like okay,
commander level.
Yeah, but Enma's gonna be out at all times. It's just that when he's not gonna go need Toryu most of the time and then go Santo. Dog.
He's barely in 3 sword style. Barely. He's always 2 sword.
Because he Shusui.
Yeah, but King, I think it's for big attacks. I think he's gonna use it for big attacks. It's not always gonna be out.
I want to see Usopp get involved in these fights. I want to see Chopper get involved in these fights. I want to see Robin.
Robin's the key, bro.
Help Zoro out. Help your boy Sanji out.
Just put some wings on Zoro and fly him around.
No,
Robin?
Well, Sanji would be page 1, or it's supposed to be. But if we don't get a full on...
Listen, if Sanji fights page 1 for the end battle, that's bullshit.
Well, okay, no, look.
Satisfying at all.
Right now, it looks like it's Sanji and Drake, because Drake kind of hates Drema, but at the same time, I'm not sure that's actually, like, because right now it's kind of weird, because, like, right now, Sanji fought against Page already, so he already had, like, a mock fight. Zoro really hates Orochi. He fucking hates Orochi. So I would assume that his mock fight, let's say if he's gonna fight King, his mock fight would be Kyoshiro. That's my guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then you have right. So then let's say it could be Killer or it could be Killer and Zoro against King for whatever reason.
Sure.
And then it could be I don't know, like Sanji, like the Law Boys.
Killer, you know?
Yeah, Penguin and Sanji. What the fuck are they gonna do?
Beppo.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean,
Law's crew sucks so bad.
John Burke has hockey, I think.
Bruh, Law's crew is the worst crew.
That's for sure.
Right. Law's the broken one, and they all suck.
Nah, get like Usopp helping out Zoro sniping King, sniping Queen at the same time. Give Usopp some shit to do.
There is a possibility that Sanji doesn't fight Queen at all. And same for Zoro with King.
Yeah.
Because if Orochi's going to be like that focused for Zoro, then and let's say Marco comes in, then Marco can fight King.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sure.
And there's a possibility that if the Marines come, then if we're gonna take Sanji's words into like he'll be the person to give the Marines the most trouble, boom. It could be a play on Sanji's part to also stall the Marines to make sure that they don't come to Wano country and fuck things up even more.
What's who's in this party? Or this Marine party?
Fuck, bro, that's a good question. I mean, considering how Kizaru was gung ho.
Yeah, what the fuck Sanji gonna do with Kizaru? What are you talking about?
I mean, raid suit, baby.
Oh, okay. All right, King.
Yo, bro.
All right. Now, next question. All right.
Yeah.
From Bardock. I am not the biggest One Piece fan, but someone who appreciates good storytelling. I sincerely hope Oda stops with his pacing and structure and finishes One Piece the way the series deserves. I want the best for the story, but this arc is making me afraid. What's the best piece of literature you've read and or watched?
His name is Naito. I remember the editor's name is Naito.
Naito.
Yeah, Naito confirmed that what he knew from Wano and what we're actually getting is much faster than he expected it would be. Yeah. Like much faster. So Naito, his old editor, did confirm that on I think I saw it on Sandman's Twitter, maybe.
Oh yeah, I think he gave an interview last year or something. Or this year.
Like some kind of like during some like Arabian, like I don't know, like anime festival thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Best literature you've ever read or watched? What's the best thing you've ever seen?
Literature?
I mean, he put watched in there, so you can put movies, I guess. Best thing you've ever seen in your life?
Recently, the Joker film was amazing.
Okay.
But I would say, if I had a bias, I love the fuck out of Troy. I really do.
Troy.
It's not the greatest movie, but I love fucking Troy.
Isn't it 4 hours?
And then The Dark Knight was, of course, a classic as well.
Yeah.
Literature. I mean, let me see here. I have read a lot of. Actually, I forgot what it was called. There was one book I was reading that was actually really, really good. But it's been a minute, so I'm not gonna go.
Okay. Say it's
harp
the
on
best
that,
of all
but
time, yeah.
Yeah. But for like manga and that kind of stuff, Berserk or Vinland Saga.
Berserk stand.
Or Monster.
Yeah. I'm about a third way through Berserk. Might finish it eventually, but
I mean, eventually, get on that shit though.
I got things to do, you know.
What the fuck you mean? Got things to do? You're right. You got to read.
Yeah.
Berserk.
Okay.
Exactly. That's exactly what I do, son.
JoJo's Part 7. I always throw that in there. A masterpiece. Part 10 out of 10.
Damn.
10 out of 10. It's so good, King. King. In the year 2030, when you're watching the anime, all right, whatever the fuck that comes out, you'll understand
still be here.
the greatness, all right?
We'll still be here.
Part 6, you know, it's there. It's good, but, you know, it's got some problems. Best thing I've ever watched? Yeah, that's always a hard question, you know. Godfather 2.
Godfather 1.
Godfather 1. Goodfellas.
There you go.
There you go. There's a few movies for you.
Yeah, yo,
King's got an answer for us.
No. For me, I think it was the one Denzel movie called Gangster. That was called, bro. That shows me.
Okay. All right. And that's the last question.
There we go. We're done.
The first live podcast with the new technology. All right. How do we think it went?
It went all right.
Went all right. No stuff ups.
We need to work out some kinks.
All right. Always problems with technology. All right. Always problems.
We appreciate King of Lightning turning up.
We do.
No doubt about that.
Like, subscribe to the channel. Go check out King's shit.
King's putting out new merch at some point. We'll work on that. All right.
It's a work in process. I need to work out those kinks.
Yeah, because there's a whole bunch of interesting things going on there, right?
He watches anime on D-Line.
He watches a lot of anime recently, right?
Goddamn right,
a lot of trash that he doesn't need to watch, but he gets forced to watch anyway. I guess that's entertainment.
Well, I need content for D-Line.
He needs content, yeah.
It is content. He's a businessman. He's getting it done.
Yeah. But at the
check
same
out
time, make
Twitter.
sure to follow me on Twitch. Very important on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch and on YouTube. We're uploading more videos. We have plans. I have an editor now, which is really
Nice.
amazing.
When
Is-
will we see the versus videos? When will we see the sucks videos? People keep
They're
on
actually going to be. I have plans for that because One Piece. I love One Piece, but I have an idea now of what I want to do for my King Lightning channel, and things are going to change when I have because I have a gaming channel, but that's going to mutate it more for something special.
Okay,
Yeah.
something special coming from King Lightning.
Something
right?
special. Yeah,
Something
absolutely,
special.
bro.
Shanks is a God King. Good night.
Amen to that.